back up.
All right, guys.
Audio test.
Hey. Okay, starting back up.
Okay, audio test sounds good. How does it sound for you guys? Sounds all right for me. How is everybody? Welcome, welcome. It's the 2020 U.S. presidential debate #1. So this is exciting. Thank you guys for joining me. I don't want to be like too distracting, so we're gonna just watch the debates and let them do their thing. And yeah, someone was saying in the chat that Trump needs another because you'd be in jail moment. So we don't want to like. This cord is so long. You ever get like a really long fucking iPhone cord? It's everywhere. So yeah, we need one of those moments, and I don't want to be like talking over it. So we're just here to be together. It's been COVID and whatever, and I don't know. People like to just do stuff as a community together. So here we are together watching it. Maybe we can do it on my stream. So that's fun. So yeah, I created a theme for this presidential election. It's, as you can see, very glittery and sparkly. I should put on better lighting. Hold on, let me fix this. I feel like suddenly I start looking shiny. I don't know when that happened, but now I'm looking shiny. But yeah, wait, hold up. Video capture, that's what I'm working with. But yeah, I have a nice little glittery kind of theme going on, as you can tell by the intro and all the promo materials that I made for the debates, because I'm Lady Alchemy and I love fashion and drama and all that stuff and aesthetics and music. So I'm just gonna bring it to you guys, my style. This is my style. This is I don't know, it just felt like it should be sparkly. It felt right. I started doing like this photoshopping with the sparkles, and I was like, this is what's happening. The debates are gonna be sparkly. So here we are, it's sparkly debates, and I try to dress up for you, and I'm actually wearing my like house robe. This is like a silk like kimono robe thing. I'm actually wearing over an actual blouse, and I just like was wearing it to put my makeup on. That's what you do when you wear white and you don't want to like fuck up your white, and when you're doing your makeup. And I was like, I'm kind of digging it. It's going with the sparkly vibe, I'm looking super sparkly silver. So yeah, thank you guys. I hope you guys, all right, so I hope that you guys have brought some snacks and drinks, and I want to go over some of the things that I got with you. So what is it? It's almost 8:30. So it's about 8:30. The debates don't start until 9, so I have about a half an hour to just bullshit and chit chat with you and show you my snacks and just kind of have a laugh with you guys before things start really kicking off. And I have, I'll put that up on the screen. What I have is Fox. So if you guys are interested in knowing, I'll show you right now. I have Fox on. So that's what we're going to watch. There may be a slight little delay with the audio because I'm doing a really ghetto thing of like playing the audio on my computer, and my mic is picking up the audio, and I don't know if it's gonna sync 100% exactly with the visuals that's being put out, but it's not that bad, and I don't think it's too distracting. So letting you guys know ahead of time, that's the deal. Most people had a lot of fun for the RNC and didn't really have an issue with the audio slight delay. So you might get some of that too, some New York sound effects while this happens. So yeah, screw this. This is not very good aesthetics. Screw those people. So we're just going to bring it back to this so we can enjoy this nice background that I made, especially for this evening for you guys. So we're going to take advantage of that. And I'm going to show you what I have. So I got some snacks. You guys should get your spliffs and cigarettes rolled and your drinks made and all that. And I'll show you what I got. I found this. I'm not really a big alcohol person, so I like things that are sweet and fruity and just absolutely probably terrible for you. And I found this. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that before, but it's straw beer Rita. Oh my God, is it a beer? No, is it a beer? It better not be a beer. It better be like a sparkling margarita. It says sparkling margarita. If it tastes like beer, I'm gonna be really pissed off because I hate whenever I buy some shit that looks fruity and refreshing, and it turns into a beer taste. Because like, why did you put strawberries all over it if it tastes like beer? Yeah. Well, anyway, if that tastes like shit, it's a waste of money. But I also have a few Mike's Hard watermelon. I thought that sounded really nice. So that'll be nice and fruity if the thing ends up tasting like beer, which is gross. Yeah. Oh, I should put like background tunes while I'm just bullshitting with you guys. Hold up. What should I play? Let me do copyright free background music. Aesthetic. Okay. Aesthetic music. Okay. It better be good. It's fun. Oh. Okay. Well, we'll try that out. Oh. Turn that down a little bit. Okay, so what else I have for you guys? You may be very excited because so okay, we got the Mike's Hard, and I might do it. So I was a little like stressed because I stupidly tend to get like red drinks, and I'm wearing white, so I'm gonna try really hard not to like spill shit on myself. And I am going to pour it because I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna end up like missing my mouth with the bottle or something, and then end up spilling it all over my white. So this might be better. That tastes good. So I got some popcorn because it's gonna be a show, you know, popcorn for this kind of thing. And then just, you know, class it up with some little wafer rolls, you know, just like smoke a cigarette, eat a wafer, you know, kind of like that whole thing. Okay, so some of you guys may know about this, so there's other people in here that might not know, but for the RNC, I was eating Gushers, or I think like the stream before that, I was eating Gushers from the bodega, and people in the chat wanted me to make a Gusher fruit roll-up burrito, and we never really fully accomplished it because I had like a fruit roll-up. No, not fruit roll-up. What is it? The one where it's like really thin and it's like long. And I did end up getting the materials. Fruit by the foot, that's what that was, yeah. I did. Look at this classic Gushers box. Hold on, does it look too bright? Let me back up a little bit. Too close to the camera, maybe. Is that better? Gushers. Look at how classic this Gushers is. I think it's too bright. Let me fix this. Hold on. Window capture? No. Video capture. That's what we're after. Turn that gamma down a little bit. I think that might be better, right? I think it's the glare. So, yeah. Classic Gushers box. Love it. And they also had the fruit roll-ups. And with the fruit roll-ups, there was a whole selection of fruit roll-up themes that you can go by. And at first, it's like, I'm not really the unicorn kind of gal. Like, I know that, like, I've got sparkles everywhere here tonight, but I'm not really a unicorn kind of gal. But the other selection of fruit roll-ups was Star Wars. And I was like, I don't think my people would appreciate the modern day Star Wars right now. So we're not gonna feed that franchise, right? We're not doing that. I was like, maybe not Star Wars. And there was a bunch of other various things, Toy Story or what have you. So then I went back to the unicorn, and if you'll notice, over here it has what is it? Unicorn tongue tattoos. Unicorn tongue tattoos. So I think when you put the fruit roll up in your mouth, it'll tattoo your tongue with some sugar. So I figure that's actually kind of fun. Let's do that. You know, I'll get the unicorns. So yeah, that's really fun. And then guys, I found something so incredible and I wanted to see what you guys thought about it. What, unicorn tongue tattoos, really? Yeah, that's what they're offering kids nowadays, is tongue tattoos with their fruit roll-ups. Take that, 5-year-old girl. Want a tongue tattoo? Real classy right there. So, yeah, that's a good thing. I have to make those burritos before we start this. But guys, are you ready? I think Jay isn't in here. Damn, Jay is missing this shit. But he's gonna freak out. But basically, so I don't know which way to start this. I mean, my favorite cereal is Fruity Pebbles, right? And I absolutely love marshmallow and Rice Krispies treats. And I motherfucking found Fruity Pebble treats. Okay? Fruity Pebble treats. They're like Rice Krispies treats, but it's Fruity Pebbles. Oh my god. This is like my favorite thing in the world. I know. I'm really, really excited. I see other people are really excited in the chat. Oh my god, what the fuck. Rob says America is doomed. That actually sounds good, to be honest, says Luke. I feel like I'm at lunch at school in the 90s. Hell yeah. You can just make those yourself. Yes, I can. Actually, I make really, really good Rice Krispies treats. So I could totally make this myself, but I might have to go for this before the gushers, I'm not gonna lie. I hate Fruity Pebbles because they get soggy very quickly. I like soggy cereal. I prefer it soggy. Stamp Tramp in your mouth and Fruity Pebble treats. Oh yeah. So fucking funny. I love it. Sounds like you got your next cooking video. So, excuse me. Thank you, Jay, for the Fruity Pebbles stash fund. It certainly does help contribute towards these silly treats that I have tonight that I just had to get. I had to get for you guys. But, Rob is freaking out because he thinks America's doomed, and and Jack is freaking out because of all the sugar. But I will have you know that, do you see that? It's gluten-free. Oh, there it is. There's the GIF. Thank you, man. So, did you see that? What's happening here? It's gluten-free. It's gluten-free. There's that. So, yeah. Also tar-free. Speaking of tar, get your smokes out. I have my bugler. And I have, you know, various things that I'm going to be smoking and drinking, so, and eating. Got new subscribers. That's right, guys. Subscribe. Like, I'll get the Fox News on, but right now they're just showing the audience with masks on. They're not doing anything interesting, so I could work on this burrito right now before we start, and you guys can let me know if you have any comments or whatever, and what you want to chit-chat a little bit about before. If there's anything interesting going on. What's been going on Twitter today before this, because I haven't been paying attention. Is there any news about what's going on? I think they're going to make the tax return thing the biggest thing in the debates. They're going to turn this whole tax return? Taxes. This whole tax thing. They're going to do this whole tax thing and make it, like, the biggest deal. Like, they're gonna, like, harp on that shit like crazy. Yeah. Biden is going to be jacked up on Adderall, dementia meds, uppers, etc., with a team of yahoos in his earpiece. I'm a new subscriber looking for the real news. The question mark? Exclamation point. Is that a question? Sure, you got something. ET said, Twitter is not gluten-free or bullshit-free for that matter, huh? It's true, it's true. Apparently documents have come out saying the Russia hoax was Hillary's idea and Obama knew about it. Makes sense. It does make sense. Well, I mean, when I was working at the Daily Caller, I remember reporting around like 2018 and stuff early on. It was they came out with it's Fusion GPS. If you Google Fusion GPS, that's like some research firm or whatever that they hired, that Hillary and the DNC hired to create the whole dossier and Russia thing or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. You can look that up, Fusion GPS. Thanks, new subscribers. That's exciting. Thank you. Like, oh, excuse me. Oh my god, now I can't stop burping because of the bubbly fucking beverage I have going on. Sorry about that. Well, yeah, so I don't know all that much about that. I don't really care too much about politics like I used to. The past few years have really drained me from really caring that much. It used to just be like a fun hobby for me. No, my beliefs. It was you know, something that was interesting. I interested in like learning about. I would read more. I realized I'm not even reading as much as I used to read. I used to read, like actual reading, not like headlines or Twitter feeds. Like I used to read things and investigate things, and no one cares. And even if you do investigate things and research something, and like no one cares. They just care about some dumbass headline and what the next hot thing is. Okay, so Jay, just so you know, just to be caught up, I was showing some of the goodies that I have tonight, and of course I brought it with the Gushers. Look at this classic Gushers box. I mean, this is classic Gushers, man. And so yeah, I got that, and I got the fruit roll-ups, and I picked the unicorn instead of Star Wars or what is it called, Toy Story and shit. Not only did I pick it because it actually has the sparkles theme that I'm going with. This was a strong you know, what is it called? That was a good selling point for me, having the sparkles, because that was the theme. But you'll also note that there are unicorn tongue tattoos. So we can do we can make a burrito and have a unicorn tongue tattoo. Look at that. Look at that. So Jay, are you ready? You ready for the surprise that I got for you guys, though? Okay, everyone else already knows about it, but I'm gonna bring it again just for Jay. Everyone say hi to Jay. He's my buddy and my mod in there, and so become friendly. It's a great community. I love this chat. Everyone is just so smart. There's always just a good vibe and energy and conversation that always happens in this stuff. So you know, get to know each other, and, you know, I hope you join our little community. But yeah, Jay, ready? I found my favorite cereal, Fruity Pebbles, and my favorite treat, Rice Krispies Treats, in one. It's Fruity Pebble Treats, motherfucker. Fruity Pebble Treats. Very exciting stuff. Yep. This morning's chat, the best chat ever. No other better. That's right, Greg. That's exactly right. I envy you right now, Martina. Yeah, you know it. You know it. Okay, so let me see what's going on over here. I don't know. Who are these people who are talking? Who's talking here? Is this important? It's not starting yet. It's 8:45. I might work on the gushers. I think someone said something about politics. Let me see. Halfway through the debate, Corn Pop will show up and challenge Biden to a rematch. Oh. Wow. Oh my god. Look at all these motherfucking fruit roll-ups I have. Oh my god. I'm in like childhood heaven with this. We gotta figure out this whole tattoo thing. So we got tramp stamps in the tongue for 5-year-old girls. That's what they're trying to do there. Gushers. That's how you gotta say it. Like, look at that. Gushers. Cole, how drunk does Martina get tonight? Hopefully not too drunk. I mean, I'm live streaming here. Gotta be careful what I say and do. That's why I only bought a limited amount of alcohol, but to be fair, it's enough to do some damage. Gushers. I'm so excited about this. I might just try this first real quick. No, I have to construct the burrito. That's what I gotta do. Shoot, I should get a plate. I need a plate for my burrito. Oh, just seeing it all lined up like that. Look, it's sparkly. Wow, Rice Krispies treats are all blue. This is red. It's like Rice Krispies treat packages, but red instead of like that blue. Interesting. Okay. Getting hot already. Gotta go to the bathroom already. It's a good thing I'm gonna have a stream to distract you guys, so I can just go to the bathroom. Alright, so who are these guys? You guys know who's talking right here? Who are those guys? I don't think it's important right now. I'm calling it. Let's fucking go, says Jay. I hope Chris reminds Joe to give Hunter his crack pipe back after the debate. Just saying. Thanks for that, Wayne. Why do they have Fred Flintstone on the front if they are called Pebbles? It should be Pebbles. Cool. Would people recognize Pebbles? Who the fuck is Hunter? It's the dude from the Six Flags commercials, I think. Oh my god, that's pretty accurate. It's hilarious. Bam Bam. Injecting Biden with 400 cc's of Alpha Brain right now. Alpha Brain? Alpha Brain. Let's see. Drunk on snacks. You know Marmites have been smoking that purple haze. Alright. Very curious about this unicorn tattoo. Oh my god. Why? Why would they think of something like this? seems kind of vaguely familiar. Honestly, I feel like I've seen this when I was a kid too. This isn't new. Which side do I do it on though? Which side do I do it on? Let's see if okay, I guess there's a unicorn there. But this just says unicorn power. That's pretty lame. I don't want to just have unicorn power in my tongue. I want a cool unicorn. Alright, let's try this one. No, I'm ripping it. Oh no, it probably got too hot. No! Oh, that's a fucked up unicorn. That's gonna be a fucked up unicorn. Damn. Shouldn't have gone for the unicorn right away. Is that how I do it? That's lame. That looks like shit. It just dyes your tongue blue for a second. Fruit roll-ups, man. Fuck yeah. Of course you can screenshot it, Jay. That's what you do, man. Alright, almost time, guys. Under 10 minutes. Got like 8 minutes to go. And this should be starting. Still just doing some bullshit right now. I don't really know who these guys are. Being asked, how did I get to fruit roll-up mukbang? Sorry about it. Alright, the burrito, I know. I feel like I need a plate. I fucked up. I didn't bring a plate out. I might get a plate. I'm gonna play my commercial real quick. My intro bit and get a plate. And we should pretty much start by the time it's over. So, a few minutes. Be right back. bug me that they're getting on stage. Alright, let's see what they're up to. Let's see what they're up to over here. How come I don't hear anything? What the fuck? Hold up. I don't hear the motherfucker. What the fuck? I don't hear him. Oh god. Am I like crazy? Am I like not allowed to hear it live? Or something? What the fuck's happening? Oh my god. Great. Hold up. Fox News debate. I can't hear it. Here, maybe I'll put it on my phone.
What can we achieve when we work together? The lowest CO2.
Dude, is it just me? I can't hear anything. Not even on my phone. It's muted in everyone's stream. Okay. Woo! Jay, you're freaking me out. Anyone subscribe to Epoch Times? I really like the Epoch Times. I don't subscribe, but I like them. I really like them. So why is this muted, do you think? Should we go to another one? Is this a glitch? Or are they... It's not for us right now. Aw, thanks, Nick. Appreciate that. Oh, Martina, please send sister or cousin to my village for getting married. Amazing, for sure. I may need to watch the PBS stream. Well, if anyone can let me know what's going on with the Fox YouTube, that would be great. Let me see. PBS live debate.
Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Wait.
Ed.
Oh, I hear it. Okay, it started. The audio started. There we go. I'm gonna make my burrito while this is happening. So much drama. Empty stage right now. Oh yeah, there's some unicorns on that one. Got it on my plate. It smells so good. Ah, fruit roll-up smells so good. Do you see like the unicorns? Gonna get the gushers and make a burrito. Now, how many gushers? This maybe a bag of gushers goes in the burrito. What do you say? Oh no, it's stuck to my plate. It's stuck to my plate. God damn it. I can't get this to work ever. How does fruit roll-up stick to plates? This motherfucker stuck to my plate. Oh my god. Oh my god. Is my plate hot? What the fuck? I ripped it. Can't get the fruit roll up off the plate. Trying again. Ooh, it's a dark one. It has purple and green on that one. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Look at that one. There's no tattoos on that one. I should roll it on this piece of plastic. That's what I should do. I should roll it on the plastic. Gotta learn the techniques of gusher burritos. So now I'm rolling on the plastic. That's how I'm doing it. To keep it from getting stuck. Don't tell me it's stuck on the motherfucking plastic now.
Good evening from the Health Education Campus of Case Western Reserve University and the Cleveland Clinic. I'm Chris Wallace of Fox News, and I welcome you to the first of the 2020 presidential debates between President Donald J. Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. This debate is sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates. The Commission has designed the format, 6 roughly 15-minute segments, with 2-minute answers from each candidate to the first question, then open discussion for the rest of each segment. Both campaigns have agreed to these rules. For the record, I decided the topics and the questions in each topic. I can assure you, none of the questions has been shared with the commission or the 2 candidates. This debate is being conducted under health and safety protocols designed by the Cleveland Clinic, which is serving as the health security advisor to the commission for all 4 debates. As a precaution, both campaigns have agreed the candidates will not shake hands at the beginning of tonight's debate. The audience here in the hall has promised to remain silent. No cheers, no boos or other interruptions, so we, and more importantly you, can focus on what the candidates have to say. No noise except right now, as we welcome the Republican nominee, President Trump, and the Democratic nominee, Vice President Biden. Gentlemen, a lot of people have been waiting for this night, so let's get going. Our first subject is the Supreme Court. President Trump, you nominated Amy Coney Barrett over the weekend to succeed the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the court. You say the Constitution is clear about your obligation and the Senate's to consider a nominee to the court. Vice President Biden, you say that this is an effort by the president and Republicans to jam through an appointment and what you call an abuse of power. My first question to both of you tonight: why are you right in the argument you make and your opponent wrong? And where do you think a Justice Barrett would take the court? President Trump, in this first segment, you go first, 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chris. I will tell you very simply, we won the election. Elections have consequences. We have the Senate, we have the White House, and we have a phenomenal nominee, respected by all, top academic, good in every way. In fact, some of her biggest endorsers are very liberal people from Notre Dame and other places. So I think she's going to be fantastic. We have plenty of time, even if we did it after the election itself. I have a lot of time after the election, as you know. So I think that she will be outstanding. She's going to be as good as anybody that has served on that court. We really feel that. We have a professor at Notre Dame, highly respected by all, said she's the single greatest student he's ever had. He's been a professor for a long time at a great school. And we won the election, and therefore we have the right to choose her. And very few people knowingly would say otherwise. And by the way, the Democrats, they wouldn't even think about not doing it. If they had, the only difference is they try and do it faster. There's no way they would give it up. They had Merrick Garland, but the problem is they didn't have the election, so they were stopped. And probably that would happen in reverse also. Definitely would happen in reverse. So we won the election, and we have the right to do it, Chris.
President Trump, thank you. Same question to you, Vice President Biden. You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all,
Vice
thank
President?
you for doing this, and looking forward to this, Mr. President.
Former Vice.
The American people have a right to have a say in who the Supreme Court nominee is, and that say occurs when they vote for a United States senators and when they vote for the President of the United States. They're not going to get that chance now because we're in the middle of an election already. The election has already started. Tens of thousands of people have already voted. And so the thing that should happen is we should wait. We should wait and see what the outcome of this election is, because that's the only way the American people get to express their view is by who they elect as president and who they elect as vice president. Now, what's at stake here is the president's made it clear he wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. He's been running on that, he ran on that, and he has been governing on that. He's in the Supreme Court right now trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which will strip 20 million people from having insurance, health insurance now, if it goes into court. And the justice, and I have nothing, I'm not opposed to the justice.
What's it
She
about?
seems like a very fine person. But she's written before she went on the bench, which is her right, that she thinks that the Affordable Care Act is not constitutional. The other thing is on the court, and if it's struck down, what happens? Women's rights are fundamentally changed. Once again, a woman could be held to pay more money because she has a pre-existing condition of pregnancy. They were able to charge a woman more for the same exact procedure a man gets. And that ended when we, in fact, passed the Affordable Care Act. And there's 100 million people who have pre-existing conditions, and they'll be taken away as well. Those pre-existing conditions, the insurance companies are going to love this. And so it's just not appropriate to do this before this election. If he wins the election and the Senate is Democrat or Republican, then he goes forward. If not, we should wait until February.
There aren't 100 million people with pre-existing conditions. As far as the say is concerned, the people already had their say. Justice Ginsburg said very powerfully, very strongly, at some point, 10 years ago or so, she said a president and the Senate is elected for a period of time, but a president's elected for 4 years. We're not elected for 3 years. I'm not elected for 3 years. So we have the Senate, we have a president.
He's elected to the next
during
election.
that period of time,
He's right.
we have an opening. I'm not elected for 3 years. I'm elected for 4 years.
The
And the
election's
100
already
million
started.
people, Joe, the 100 million people is totally wrong. I don't know where you got that number. The bigger problem that you have is that you're going to extinguish 180 million people with their private health care that they're very
That's
happy
simply
with.
not true.
Well, you're certainly going to socialist. You're
Go ahead.
going to
This
socialist
is,
medicine.
we're now into, gentlemen, we're now into open discussion.
Open discussion.
Open discussion. Yes, I agree. Go ahead, Vice President.
Number one, he knows that what I proposed. What I proposed is that we expand Obamacare.
Biden is
and
shockingly
we increase
lucid.
it. We do not
Popcorn
wait
power,
any-
eating
and
popcorn.
One of the big debates we had with 23 of my colleagues trying to win the nomination that I won were saying that Biden wanted to allow people to have private insurance still. They can. They do. They will under my proposal.
It's not what you've said,
But
and it's not what
that
your
is-
party has said.
that is simply
your party
a lie.
doesn't say it. Your party
is
wants to
simple.
go socialist
My
Oh,
party
shit.
is
and
me.
socialist
right
healthcare.
now. I am,
and
the
they're going to
Democratic
dominate
Party.
you, Joe. You know that.
I am the Democratic Party right now. The platform of the
Not according
Democratic
to
Party
Harris.
is what I, in fact, approved of. What I approved of. Now, here's the deal. The deal is that it's going to wipe out pre-existing conditions. And by the way, the 200,000 people that have died on his watch, how many of those have survived? Well, there's 7 million people that contracted COVID. What does it mean for them going forward if you strike down the Affordable Care Act. And
Joe, you've had
pre-existing
308,000 military people dying because you couldn't provide them proper health care in the military. So don't tell me
I'm
about
happy
it.
to talk about
And if you were here,
Look,
it
here's
wouldn't
the
be
deal.
200, it would be 2 million people because you were very late on the draw. You
Late
didn't
on
want
the
me to
draw.
ban China, which was heavily infected. You didn't want me to ban
All right, gentlemen,
Europe, which
no,
was heavily
Mr. President,
You would have
Mr.
been much
President,
later, Joe.
Mr. President,
Much later.
Mr.
You're talking
President,
about 2 million people.
You're
Mr.
not gonna be able
President,
to
as a
shut it down.
moderator, we are going to talk about COVID in the next segment, but go ahead.
Let me finish. The point is that
Let me
the president
finish.
also is opposed to Roe v. Wade. That's on the ballot as well
Oh, it's
in the
just so
court.
basic,
in the
bitch.
court. And so that's also at stake right now. And so the election is already
You don't know it's on
begun.
the ballot.
I-
Why is it on the ballot?
Because
Why is it
you
on the
said
ballot? It's not on the ballot.
it's on the ballot in the
I
court.
don't think so.
In the court. Well,
There's nothing happening there.
Donald, would you
You
just
don't
be quiet
know
for a
her
minute?
view on Roe v. Wade. You
I
don't
don't
know her
know.
view.
Well, all right, let's talk.
Look at
We got
Byron,
lots
he's
of room back
frozen.
here, gentlemen. We got a lot of time, so.
I love how the
on
moderator
healthcare,
shuts it down.
and
It's
then
fine.
we'll come back to Roe v. Wade.
All right.
Mr. President, the Supreme Court will hear a case a week after the election in which the Trump administration, along with 18 state attorneys general, are seeking to overturn
That's right.
Obamacare, to end Obamacare. You have spent the last...
Because they want to
If
give
I-
good
if I-
health care.
If I may ask
Go
my
ahead.
question, sir.
Good health care.
Over the last 4 years, you have promised to repeal and replace Obamacare,
I agree,
but
Chris.
you have
Trump is
never
only
in
using
these 4 years
5% of
come
his
up
power.
with a plan, a comprehensive plan
Yes, I
to
have.
replace Obamacare.
Of course I have.
Well, I'll
I
give
got
you
rid
an
of
I'm
the
gonna- when I
individual
finish,
mandate.
I'm going to give you an
Excuse me.
opportunity.
I got rid of the individual mandate, which was a
That
big
is not a
chunk of
comprehensive
Obamacare. That
plan.
is absolutely a big thing. That was the worst
I
part of
didn't ask,
Obamacare.
Sir,
Chris,
you're
that was the
debating him,
worst
not
part of
me.
Obamacare.
Let me ask my question.
Well, I'll ask Joe. The
no,
individual
I-
mandate was the most unpopular
Mr. Vice Pre-
aspect of
Mr.
Obamacare. I
President,
got rid of it.
I'd like
and
you
we
to-
will
Mr.
protect people
President,
with
I'm the
pre-existing
moderator of this
conditions.
debate, and I would like you to let me
Okay.
ask my question, and then you can answer
Go
your
ahead.
question.
Biden
You,
goes
in
off
the
on a
course of these
tangent.
4 years, have never come up with a comprehensive plan to replace Obamacare, and just this last Thursday, you signed a largely symbolic executive order to protect people with pre-existing conditions 5 days before this debate. So my question, sir, is what is the Trump health care plan?
Well, first of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay. I'm not surprised. Let me just tell you something. There's nothing symbolic. I'm cutting drug prices. I'm going with favored nations, which no president has the courage to do because you're going against big pharma. Drug prices will be coming down 80 or 90%. You could have done it during your 47-year period in government, but you didn't do it. Nobody's done it. So we're cutting health care.
What about
All of the
pre-existing
things that
conditions?
we've done,
He has not cut
insulin. I
health
give
care.
you an example. Insulin. It was destroying families, destroying people because I'm getting it for so cheap. It's like water. You want to know the truth. So cheap. Take a look at all of the drugs what we're doing, prescription drug prices. We're going to allow our governors now to go to other countries to buy drugs because
When in
they
fact-
pay just a tiny
As
fraction.
I say,
of
this
what
is
we do.
open discussion.
No,
Let
but
me
this
ask
is
you,
big-
you'll
this
be
is
happy,
big stuff.
sir. You'll be happy. I'm about to pick up on one of your points to ask the vice president, which
The
is he
moderator
points
is
out
clearly
that
against
you would
Trump.
like to
It's so
add
obvious.
a public option to Obamacare.
It's
and
so
the
obvious.
argument that he makes and other Republicans make is that is going to end private insurance.
It is
and
not.
well, if I can
Sorry.
ask you the question, it will
Not what
end.
your party says, by the way.
It will end private insurance and create a government takeover of health care.
It does not. It's only for those people who are so poor they qualify
like
for
water.
Medicaid. They can get that free in most states, except governors who want to deny people who are poor Medicaid. Anyone who qualifies for Medicare would, Medicaid would automatically be enrolled in the public option. The vast majority of the American people would still not be in that option. Number one.
Joe, you
Number
agreed
two.
with Bernie
Number-
Sanders, who's
I
far
did-
left, on the manifesto,
Well,
we
you-
call it.
well,
And that
manifesto-
gives you socialized medicine.
Look, hey,
Are you
I'm
saying
not
you
going to
didn't
listen to him. The fact of the matter is,
I'm not gonna
I beat
listen to him.
Bernie Sanders.
Not by much.
I beat him a whole hell of a lot. I'm here,
Not by
I'm here
much.
standing
Not by
facing
much.
you,
Pocahontas
everybody.
would have left 2 days
I'll tell
early.
you.
You would have lost every
All he
primary.
knows how to
Pocahontas.
do
For
is
Tuesday. You got
Look,
very lucky.
here's the deal. I got very lucky. I'm going to get very lucky tonight as well. And tonight I'm going to
With
make
what?
sure because
With what?
here's the deal. Here's the deal. The fact is that everything he's saying so far is simply a lie. I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar.
But you
I just
agree-
want to make sure.
Joe, you're the liar.
I want to make sure.
Graduated last in your class, not first in your class.
I want to make
Mr.
sure.
President, can you let him finish, sir?
He doesn't know how to do that. He has,
You'd be
you know,
surprised.
you pick
You'd be surprised.
the
Go ahead,
wrong
Joe.
guy, the wrong
Joe,
night at
go.
the wrong time.
Listen, you agreed with
Here's the
Bernie
deal.
Sanders to the manifesto.
whole idea-
Let him-
There is no manifesto. Number
Please
one.
let him speak, Mr.
Number
President.
You
two.
just lost the left.
Number two.
Oh.
You just lost the left.
You just lost the
You
left.
agreed with Bernie Sanders on a plan.
Folks,
that's absolutely
folks,
agreed
do you
to,
have
and
any
under that
idea
plan,
what
you
this
have
clown's
socialized,
doing?
They call it
Mr.
Medicare
Do you
for
have
President.
any do?
Socialized medicine.
Mr.
Well, I'll
President.
tell you what, he is not for any help for people needing health care. Because
Bernie?
because he in fact already has cost 10 million people their health care that they had from their employers because of his recession. Number one. Number two,
yeah.
there are 20 million people getting health care through Obamacare now that he wants to take it away. He won't ever look you in the eye and say that's what he wants to do. Take it away.
No, I want to give
Number
them better
three.
health care at a
But-
much lower price
But,
because
and by the way, he
Obamacare
doesn't
is
know
no
how.
good.
He doesn't know how
I've
to do
already
that.
fixed it.
He has never
I've
offered
already
a
fixed
plan.
it to an extent.
He has never
Obamacare,
done a
as you
single
might
thing.
know, but probably don't.
Gentlemen, you realize
is no
if you're
good,
both
Joe.
speaking at the
It's no
same
good,
time,
and it's too expensive.
let the president go ahead, sir.
Obamacare is no good. We made it better, and I had a choice to make very early on. We took away the individual mandate. We guaranteed pre-existing conditions, but took away the individual
true.
mandate. Listen, this is the way it is, and that destroyed. That they shouldn't even call it Obamacare. Then I had a choice to make. Do I let my people run it really well, or badly? If I run it badly, they'll probably blame him, but they'll blame me. But more importantly, I want to help people. Okay? I said you got to run it so well.
That's what he's
And I
known for.
just had a meeting with them. They said the problem is no matter how well you run Obamacare, it's a disaster. It's too expensive.
I got it.
Premiums
I
are
got
too
it.
high, and
That's
it
what his
doesn't work.
people- that's
So
what his people
we
say.
do want to get rid of it.
It's
Chris,
an
we
open-
want to get rid of it.
I
and
understand
give
it, sir,
something
but I
that's
have
cheaper
to
and
give you
better.
roughly equal time. Please let the vice president talk.
Good.
He has no plan for health care.
Of course we do.
Please.
He sends out wishful thinking. He has executive orders that have no power. He hasn't lowered drug costs for anybody. He's been promising a health care plan since he got elected. He has none, like almost everything else he talks about. He does not have a plan. He doesn't have a plan. And the fact is, this man doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right.
He's
I have
against.
one final question for you,
Sure.
Mr. Vice President. If Senate Republicans, we were
Sounds
talking
like-
originally about the Supreme Court here, if Senate Republicans go ahead and confirm Justice Barrett, there has been talk about ending the filibuster or even packing the court, adding to the 9 justices there. You call this a distraction by the president, but in fact it wasn't brought up by the president. It was brought up by some of your Democratic colleagues in the Congress. So my question to you is, you have refused in the past to talk about it. Are you willing to tell the American people tonight whether or not you will support either ending the filibuster or packing the court?
Whatever position I take on that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak. You should go out and vote. You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how
Are you gonna
strongly
pack
you
the
feel.
court?
Vote now.
gonna pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in fact, let people know
He doesn't wanna
you're
answer the
senators.
question.
I'm not going to answer the question
Why
because
would you answer that
because
question?
the question
You want to put a lot
is
of
the
new
question
Supreme Court
is
justices,
the
radical
question.
left.
Will you
Who
shut
is
up,
on,
man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
This
Who's
is
on your
so
list?
right.
Gentlemen,
This is-
I think
This
we've
is
ended
so
this.
He's going to pack the
unprecedented.
court.
We have
I'm not going to give a list.
We have ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it? Keep yapping, man.
The people understand, Joe.
They should.
47
Biden's
years
trying to
you've
be
gotten
snappy
nothing.
like
They
Trump.
understand.
That
All
did
right.
not work.
The second subject is COVID-19, which is an awfully serious subject, so let's try to be serious about it. We have had more than 7
like the
million
moderator just
cases
interrupts
of
everyone the whole
coronavirus
time.
in the United States, and more than 200,000 people have died. Even after we produce a vaccine, experts say that it could be months or even years before we come back
Incredible.
to anything approaching normal. My question for both of you is, based on what you have said and done so far and what you have said you would do starting in 2021, why should the American people trust you more than your opponent to deal with this public health crisis going forward? In this case, the question goes to you first, sir. 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Good luck. 200,000 dead. As you said, over 7 million infected in the United States. We, in fact, have 5%, 4% of the world's population, 20% of the deaths. 40,000 people a day are contracting COVID. In addition to that, about between 750 and 1,000 people a day are dying. When he was presented with that number, he said, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is because you are who you are. That's why it is. The president has no plan. He hasn't laid out anything. He knew all the way back in February how serious this crisis was. He knew it was a deadly disease. What did he do? He's on tape as acknowledging he knew it. He said he didn't tell us or give people a warning of it because he didn't want to panic the American people. You don't panic. He panicked. In addition to that, what did he do? He went in and we were insisting that the Chinese, the people we had on the ground in China should be able to go to Wuhan and determine for themselves how dangerous this was. He did not even ask Xi to do that. He told us what a great job Xi was doing. He said we owe him a debt of gratitude for being so transparent with us. And what did he do then? He then did nothing. He waited and waited and waited. He still doesn't have a plan. I laid out back in March exactly what we should be doing. And I laid out again in July what we should be doing. We should be providing all the protective gear possible. We should be providing the money the House has passed in order to be able to go out and get people the help they need to keep their businesses open schools. It costs a lot of money. You should get out of your bunker and get out of the sand trap and get in your golf course and go in the Oval Office and bring together the Democrats and Republicans and fund what needs to be done now to save lives.
So if we would have listened to you...
You have 2 minutes, sir.
If we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000, and one person is too much. It's China's fault. It should have never happened. They stopped it from going in, but it was China's fault. And by the way, when you talk about numbers, you don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in Russia. You don't know how many people died in India. They don't exactly give you a straight count, just so you understand. But if you look at what we've done,
it's presidential stuff.
You wouldn't understand. He's xenophobic. He's a racist, and he's xenophobic. Because you didn't think I should have closed our country. Wait a minute.
It says 2 minutes.
You didn't think we should have closed our country because you thought it was terrible. You wouldn't have closed it for another 2 months. By my doing it early, in fact, Dr. Fauci said, President Trump saved thousands of lives. Many of your Democrat governors said, President Trump did a phenomenal job. We worked with the governor. Oh, really? Go take a look. The governors said I did a phenomenal job. Most of them said that. In fact, people that would not be necessarily on my side said that. President Trump did a phenomenal job. We did. We got the gowns. We got the masks. We made the ventilators. You wouldn't have made ventilators. And now we're weeks away from a vaccine. We're doing therapeutics already. Fewer people are dying when they get sick. Far fewer people are dying. We've done a great job. The only thing I haven't done a good job, and that's because of the fake news. No matter what you say to them, they give you bad press on it. It's just fake news. They give you good press. They give me bad press because that's the way it is, unfortunately. But let me just tell you something. I don't care. I've gotten used to it. But I'll tell you, Joe, you could never have done the job that we did. You don't have it in your blood. You could have never done that job.
I know how to do the job. I know how to get the job.
Well, you didn't do very well in swine flu. H1N1, you were a disaster. Your own chief of staff said you were a disaster.
14,000 people died, not 200,000. There was no economic recession.
You made a
there was no recession.
You made a point. Let him answer.
And there was we didn't shut down the economy. This is his economy he's shut down. The reason it's shut down is because, look, you folks at home, how many of you got up this morning and had an empty chair at the kitchen table because someone died of COVID? How many of you were in a situation where you lost your mom or dad and couldn't even speak to a nurse holding a phone up so you could, in fact, say goodbye?
You would have lost far more.
Here's my emotional talking point about COVID.
And you would have been.
And by the way,
the chairs. Talk about the chairs at breakfast.
His own CDC director says we could lose as many as another 200,000 people between now and the end of the year. And he held up. He said, if we just wear a mask, we can save half those numbers. Just a mask. And by the way, in terms of the whole notion of a vaccine, We're for a vaccine, but I don't trust him at all, nor do you. I know you don't. What we trust is a scientist.
You don't
we
trust
Dr.
Johnson
Fauci.
Johnson, Pfizer?
Okay,
by the way,
gentlemen, let me move on to questions about the future, because you both have touched on two of the questions I'm going to ask. Focusing on the future first, President Trump, you have repeatedly either contradicted or been at odds with some of your government's own top scientists. The week before last, the head of the Centers for Disease Control, Dr. Redfield, said it would be summer before the vaccine would become generally available to the public. You said that he was confused and mistaken. Those were your two words. But Dr. Slaoui, the head of your Operation Warp Speed, has said exactly the same thing. Are they both wrong?
Well, I've spoken to the companies, and we can have it a lot sooner. It's a very political thing, because people like this would rather make it political than save lives. It is a very political thing. I've spoken to Pfizer. I've spoken to all of the people that you have to speak to. We have great Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and others. They can go faster than that by a lot. Become very political, because the left, or I don't know if I call them left, I don't know what I call
the
them.
head of your Operation Warp Speed, Dr. Slaoui?
I disagree with him. Yeah, no, I disagree with both of them. And he didn't say that. He said it could be there, but it could also be much sooner. I had him in my office 2 days ago.
He talked about the summer, sir, before it's generally available. Just like
He said
Dr.
it's a
Redfield.
possibility that we'll have the answer before November 1st. It could also
I'm
be
talking about
after
when it's
that.
generally available.
Well, we're going to deliver it right away. We have the military all set up. Logistically, they're all set up. We have our military that delivers soldiers,
See, I'll
and they
have
can
a-
do 200,000 a
Chris
day.
Wallace is debating
They're going
Trump
to be
This is
Joe.
the same man
It's
who
all
told
set
you
up.
by Easter this would be gone away. By the warm weather, it'd be gone. Miraculous, like a miracle. And by the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take care of it. This is the
That
same
was
man.
said sarcastically,
That was
you
him.
know that.
I-
That was said sarcastically.
And so here's the deal. This man is talking about a vaccine. Every serious company is talking about maybe having a vaccine done by the end of the year. But the distribution of that vaccine
Biden's just
will not occur
corny,
until
man.
sometime beginning or the middle of next
Look
year
how
to get it
corny
out.
he is.
If we get the vaccine. And pray God we will. Pray God we will.
Mr.
thinks
Vice
he,
President,
like,
I want to pick up
You'll have the vaccine sooner
I want to
than
pick
that.
up on this question, though. You say the public can trust the scientists, but they can't trust President Trump. In fact, you said that again tonight. Your running mate, Senator Harris, goes further, saying the public health experts, quote, will be muzzled, will be suppressed. Given the fact that polls already show that people are concerned about the vaccine and are reluctant to take it, are you and your running mate, Senator Harris, contributing to that fear?
No more than the question you just asked him. You
What?
pointed out. He puts pressure and disagrees with his own scientists.
But you're saying you
Everybody
can't, or
knows.
Senator
And-
Harris is saying
no.
you can't trust the
No,
scientists.
well, no, you can trust the scientists. She didn't say that. You can't
She,
trust
she
the
said the
Oh.
public health
Did say
experts,
that.
quote, will be muzzled, will be
Yes.
suppressed.
Well, that's what he's going to try to do. But there's millions
Oh,
of scientists,
Biden
there's
can't even
thousands of
remember
scientists out
what
there,
Camilla
like
said.
here at this great hospital, that don't work for him. Their job doesn't depend on him. That's not. They're the people. And by
I
the way,
spoke to the
and
scientists that are in
by
charge.
the way,
They will have
and
the vaccine very
does-
soon.
Let him finish.
Do you believe for a moment what he's telling you in light of all the lies he's told you about the whole issue
Well,
relating to
is he
COVID?
trying to force
He
him to
still
have
hasn't even
a
acknowledged
vaccine? Like,
that he knew this was happening, knew how dangerous it was going to be back in February, and he didn't even tell you. He's on record as saying it. He panicked, or he just looked at the stock market. One of the two, because guess what? A lot of people died, and a lot more are going to die unless he
Okay,
gets
the
a lot
emotional shit
smarter,
again.
a lot quicker.
So-
people
Mr.
are dying.
President,
Did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe. 47 years you've done nothing.
Let's have this debate.
And if you
See
would have
this-
had, let me just tell you something, Joe.
No,
If you would have had the charge of what I was put through, I had to close the greatest economy in the history of our country. And by the way, now it's being built again.
See,
and it's
we're going
going
to get
up
to the
fast.
economy in the next segment, sir.
okay.
It's going up fast.
Okay.
Looking forward to talking.
When it comes to how the virus has been handled so far, the two of you have taken very different approaches, and this is going to affect how the virus is handled going forward by whichever of you ends up becoming the next president. I want to quickly
Whichever.
go through several of those. Reopenings. Vice President Biden, you have been much more reluctant than President Trump about reopening the economy.
Everyone's going to die if we don't elect
Because
Biden,
there's no
says
plan.
Marcus.
If I were running, I know what the plan is. You've got to provide these businesses the ability to have the money to be able to reopen with the PPE as well as with the sanitation they need. You have to
Tell
provide
that
them
to Nancy
plastic.
Pelosi.
Would he just shush for a minute?
Tell it to Nancy Pelosi.
And
Schumer,
by the
Brian
way,
Chuck.
Nancy Pelosi and Schumer, they have a plan. He won't even meet with them. The Republicans won't meet with the Senate. And he sits on his golf course. And I mean, literally, think about it.
You probably play more than I do, Jim.
Biden keeps doing personal attacks. It's always
he
like,
wants to shut down this.
you're a
country,
dummy.
and I want to keep it open. And we
You
did a
ju-
great
he
thing
just
by
admitted
shutting
he
it
shut
down.
it down.
Wait a minute, Jeff.
He's
Let me
a
shut
bad
you down for a
person.
second,
I don't
Jeff,
like
just
him.
for 1 second. He wants
Shut
to
it
shut
down,
down
Joe.
the country.
Shut it down.
We just went through it. We had to because we didn't know anything about the disease. Now we found that elderly people with heart problems and diabetes and different problems are very, very vulnerable. We learned a lot. Young children aren't. Even younger people aren't. We've learned a lot. But he wants to shut it down. More people will be
Shut it
hurt
down.
by continuing. If you look at Pennsylvania, if you look at certain states that have been shut down, they have Democrat governors all. One of the reasons they're shut down is because they want to keep it shut down until after the election on November
I want to
3rd.
move on to another
Because
subject.
it's a
I want to move
political.
on to another
I
subject.
gotta respond.
But those states are not doing well that are shut down
Which is
right
gotta
now.
respond to that.
What's
President
the shutdown
Trump,
of
you
the whole
have
country?
begun to increasingly question the effectiveness of masks as a disease preventer. And in fact, recently you have cited the issue of waiters touching their masks and touching plates. Are you questioning
No, I think
the
masks are
efficacy
okay.
of
You have
masks?
to understand, if you look, I mean, I have a mask right here. I put a mask on, when I think I need it. Tonight, as an example, everybody's had a test, and you've had social distancing and all of the things that you have to. I wear masks when needed. When needed, I wear masks.
Okay, let me ask.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from me, and he shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen. I will say, I will say
Vice
this.
President Biden, go ahead, sir.
Look, the way to open businesses is give them the wherewithal to be able to open. We provided money.
But I was asking you, sir, about masks.
Well, masks make a big difference. His own
Oh, well,
head of
masks.
CDC said if we just
Oh,
wore
masks.
masks between
See his
now,
eyes?
if everybody wore masks in social distance between now and January, we'd probably save up to 100,000 lives. It matters.
And they've also
It
said the
matters.
opposite. They've
And
also said
no serious person said the opposite. No
well, look,
serious.
look
I
at
wanna
Dr.
ask you-
Fauci. Dr. Fauci said the
He
opposite.
did
I
not
want
say
to
the
ask you, we
opposite.
got
He
a
said
little
very
bit more than a
strongly,
minute left in this
masks
segment.
are not good. Then he changed his mind. He said masks are good.
I
I'm
wanna
okay
ask-
with masks.
I
I'm
want to
not
ask you
fighting
both about
masks.
one last subject because your different approaches has even affected the way that you have campaigned. President Trump, you're holding large rallies with crowds packed together, thousands of people. Outside, yes, sir, agreed. Vice President Biden, you are holding much smaller events with
Because nobody will show up.
people with
What's true? Nobody shows up to his rallies.
All right. In any case, why you holding the big rallies?
Oh
Why
my
you
God.
not? You go first, sir.
Because people want to hear what I have to say. I mean,
But are you
I've
not
done a
worried
great
about it
job as a
spreading disease?
president, and I'll have 35,000 people show up at airports. We use airports.
Biden, no
Now,
friends.
About
We
the
have a
disease
lot of
issues,
people.
sir.
Well, so far, we have had no problem whatsoever. It's outside. That's a big difference, according to the experts. And we do them outside. We have tremendous crowds, as you see. I mean, and literally on 24 hours notice. And Joe does the circles and has 3 people sometimes.
Joe is
Okay.
a
By
mess.
By the way, did you see
Gotcha.
one of the last big rallies he had? And a reporter came up to him to ask him a question. He said, "No, no,
All right,
no.
Pete Walsh
Stand
laughed
back.
at that one.
Put on your mask. Put on a mask. Have you been tested?"
Look how corny Biden is.
I'm way far away from those other people. That's what he said. I'm going to be okay. He's not worried about you. He's not worried about the people out there breathing in one another.
We've had no
The
negative
cheek to
effect.
jowl. No negative effect.
We've had no negative effect. And we've had 35,000, 40,000
All right,
people
you wanna-
at these rallies.
Just
Yes.
quickly finish up because I want to move on to our next.
Yes, I
Trump
will.
is killing
He's
it,
been
I'm
totally
sorry.
irresponsible the way
He's
in
owning
which he
it.
has handled the social distancing and people wearing masks. Basically, encourage them not to.
All right.
He's a fool on this.
If you could get the crowds, you would have done the same thing. But you can't. Nobody cares.
Gentlemen, can we move on to the
Nobody cares.
Gentlemen, can we move on to the economy?
Yes.
The economy
Yes.
is, I think
Trump
it's fair
is
to say,
like
recovering
here.
faster than
He's like down
expected
here
from
right
the
now.
shutdown.
Much faster.
In the second quarter, the unemployment rate fell to 8.4% last month. The Federal Reserve says the hit to growth, which is going to be there, is not going to be nearly as big as they had expected. President Trump, you say we are in a V-shaped recovery. Vice President Biden, you say it's more of a K-shape. What difference does that mean to the American people in terms of the economy? President Trump, in this segment, you go first.
So we built the greatest economy in history. We closed it down because of the China plague. When the plague came in, we closed it down, which was very hard psychologically to do. He didn't think we should close it down, and he was wrong. And again, 2 million people would be dead now instead of still 204,000 people is too much. One person is too much. Should have never happened from China. But what happened is
Thanks,
we
Michael.
closed it down, and now we're reopening, and we're doing record business. We had 10.4 million people in a 4-month period that we've put back into the workforce. That's a record the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. And he wants to close down he will shut it down again. He will destroy this country. You know, a lot of people, between drugs and alcohol and depression, when you start shutting it down, you take a look at what's happening in some of your
The
Democrat-run
Bidening
states
has
where
begun.
they have these
Thanks,
tough
Craig.
shutdowns. And I'm telling you, it's because they don't want to open it. One of them came out last week. You saw that. Oh, we're going to open up on November 9th.
The Biden
November
has
9th,
begun.
Because it's after the election. They think they're hurting us by keeping them closed. They're hurting people. People know what to do.
I don't know why
they
they
can
went off.
social distance. They can wash their hands. They can wear masks. They can do whatever they want. But they got to open these states up. When you look at North Carolina, when you look, and these governors are under siege, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and a couple of others, you got to open these states up. It's not fair. You're talking about almost it's like being in prison. And you look at what's going on with divorce, look at what's going on with alcoholism and drugs. It's a very, very sad thing. And he'll close down the whole country. This guy will close down the whole country and destroy our country. Our country is coming back incredibly well, setting records as it does it. We don't need somebody to come in and say, let's shut it down.
All right, your 2 minutes, sir. We're now moved to you. As I said, posing the question, the president says it's a V-shaped recovery. You say it's a K-shaped recovery. What's the difference?
The difference is millionaires and billionaires like him in the middle of the COVID crisis have done very well. Billionaires have made another $300 billion because of his profligate tax proposal, and he only focused on the market. But you folks at home, you folks living in Scranton and Claymont and all the small
wake up
towns
in the morning,
and working
you
class
look at your
towns in
chair.
America, how well are you doing? This guy paid a total of $750 in taxes.
Sir, wait, no. Sir, it's just yeah, I understand. You've agreed to the 2 minutes, so please let him have it.
Do I get my time back? The fact is that he has, in fact, worked on this in a way that he's going to be the first president of the United States to leave office having fewer jobs in his administration than when he became president. Fewer jobs than when he became president. First one in American history. Secondly, the people who have lost their jobs are those people who have been on the front lines, those people who have been saving our lives, those people who have been out there dying, people who've been putting themselves in the way to make sure that we could all try to make it. And the idea that he is insisting that we go forward and open when you have almost half the states in America with a significant increase in COVID deaths and COVID cases in the United States of America. And he wants to open it up more. Why does he want to open it up? Why doesn't he take care of the American? You can't fix the economy until you fix the COVID crisis. And he has no intention of doing anything about making it better for you all at home in terms of your health and your safety. Schools. Why aren't schools open? Because it costs a lot of money to open them safely. You know, they were going to give, his administration was going to give the teachers and school students masks. And then they decided, couldn't do that because it's not a national emergency. Not a national emergency. They've done nothing to help small businesses. Nothing. They're closing. 1 in 6 is now gone.
So Biden is basically promising to cure COVID. Yeah.
And take care of the needs of the American people so we can open safely.
All right. Your time is up, sir. We are going to get to...
I have to respond to that.
Well, you both have 2 minutes, sir.
Excuse me, he made a statement.
So did you.
People want their schools open. They don't want to be shut down. They don't want their state shut down. They want their restaurants. I look at New York. It's so sad what's happening in New York. It's almost like a ghost town. And I'm not sure it can ever recover what they've done in New York. People want their places open. They want to get back to their lives. They'll be careful, but they want their schools open. I'm the one that brought back football. By the way, I brought back Big Ten football. It was me, and I'm very happy to do it. And
all right,
people of Ohio are very proud of me. And you know how I found out? When you took
gentlemen,
the
we're going to get to your economic plans going forward in a moment. But first, Mr. President, as you well know, there's a new report that in 2016, the year you were elected president, and 2017, your first year as president, that you paid $750 a year in federal income tax each of those years. I know that you pay a lot of other taxes, but I'm asking you the specific question. Is it true that you paid $750 in federal income taxes each
So
of
I know
those
it's not
2
the
years?
only taxes you paid.
Millions of dollars in
But I'm not
taxes,
asking about that. I'm
millions
asking
of
about this
dollars
one.
of income tax. And let me just tell you, there was a story in one of the papers.
Show us your tax
I paid
return.
$38 million one year. I paid $27 million
Show us your tax
one year.
returns.
I went. You'll see it as soon as it's finished. You'll see it. You know, if you want to go to the Board of Elections. There's a 118-page or so report that says everything I have, every bank I have, I'm totally under-leveraged because the assets are extremely good, and I built
Sir,
a great
I'm asking
company.
you a specific question, which
But
is...
let me tell you.
I understand all of that.
Release your
I
tax
understand all of that.
return.
No, Mr. President,
Go ahead.
I'm asking you a question.
That was
Will
a
you
loaded
tell us
question.
how much you paid in federal income taxes in 2016 and 2017?
Millions of dollars.
You paid billions of dollars?
Millions of dollars.
So
yes.
not 750?
Millions of dollars, and you'll get to see it. And you'll get to see
when?
it. But let
In
me just
July?
tell you, Chris, let me just tell you something, that it was the tax laws. I don't want to pay tax. Before I came here, I was a private developer. I was a private business people. Like every other private person, unless they're stupid, they go through the laws, and that's what it is. He passed a tax bill that gave us all these privileges for depreciation and for tax credits. We built a building and we get tax credits, like the hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue. You get a massive, which, by the way, was given to me by the Obama administration, if you can believe that. Now, the man got fired right after that happened. But
Vice President Biden, you want to respond?
Yeah, I do want to respond. Look, the tax code that made him, put him in a position that he pays less tax than a school teacher on the money a school teacher makes is because of him he says he's smart because he can take advantage of the tax code. And he does take advantage of the tax code. That's why I'm going to eliminate the Trump tax
So
cuts.
do you,
And we're
Biden.
going to eliminate those tax
Okay.
cuts and make sure that we invest in the people who, in fact, need the help. People out there need help.
But why didn't you do it over the last 25 years?
Because you are
Why didn't you do it over
Because
the
you
last
are
25
president
years?
screwing
No.
things up.
You were a senator, and
You're
by
the
the way,
worst
you were a
president
vice.
America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just tell you, Joe. I've done more in
You're the worst
47
president
months.
ever.
I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe. We've done things that you never even thought of doing,
Okay.
including
Gentlemen.
fixing the broken military that
I'm
you
president,
gave me.
you're
You're
not.
taking care of
We're
your
talking,
debts.
Mr. President, we're talking about the economy. I'd like to ask you about your plans going forward because, Mr. Vice President, your economic plan, if you were to be
Yes,
elected
ma'am.
president, focuses a lot on big government, big taxes, big spending. I want to focus first on the taxes. You propose more than $4 trillion over a decade in new taxes on individuals making more than $400,000 a year and on corporations. President Trump says that kind of an increase in taxes is going to
Sorry
hurt
about
the
the glitching.
economy
I
as
don't know
it's
why
just
it does
coming out
that.
of a recession.
Well, just take a look at what has the analysis been done by Wall Street firms. Points out that my economic plan would create 7 million more jobs than his in 4 years, number one. And number two, it would create an additional $1 trillion in economic growth because it would be about buying American.
All
That
Trump
we
has
have
to do
we're
is
gonna make
piss
the
Biden
federal
off.
government spend
Mission accomplished.
$600 billion a year on everything from ships to steel to buildings and the like. And under my proposal, we're going to make sure that every penny of that has to be made by a company.
But
in
respectfully,
America.
sir, I'm talking about taxes, not spending.
Well,
Biden, remember
I'm
what we're
gonna
talking
eliminate
about.
Significant number of the tax. I'm going to make the The corporate tax, 28%. It shouldn't be 21%. You have 91 companies, in the Fortune 500, who don't pay a single penny in tax, making billions of dollars.
Why didn't you do it
Billions
before
of dollars.
when you were vice president with Obama?
Because you, in fact, passed that. That was
Right.
your
I got
tax
it.
proposal.
I got it done. And you know what happened?
Yeah, you got it done.
Our economy boomed
And
like it's never boomed.
The economy is
Mr.
busted.
President,
Let me finish.
Mr. President, let me pick up on that. You would continue your free market approach, lower taxes, more deregulation, correct?
Not lower tax for the American people.
Let me.
Excuse me.
But in
Excuse me.
Obama's, you talk about the economy booming. It turns out that in Obama's final 3 years as president, more jobs were created, 1.5 million more jobs than in the first 3 years of your presidency.
They had the slowest recovery economic recovery since 1929. It was the slowest recovery. Also, they took over something that was down here. All you had to do is turn on the lights and you pick up a lot. But they had the slowest economic recovery since 1929. Let me tell you about the stock market. When the stock market goes up, that means jobs. It also means 401ks. If you got in, if you ever became president with your ideas, you want to terminate my taxes, I'll tell you what, you'll lose half of the companies that have poured in here will leave, and plenty
Half
of
of the
companies that are
companies-
already here, they'll leave for
hardly any
other
companies
places.
have
They will
poured in
leave,
here.
and you will have a depression, the likes of which you've never seen.
Look,
I
we
think Trump knows what
inherited
he's talking about in
the
regard
worst
to
recession short of
economy and,
depression
like,
in American history. I was
Wall
asked
Street
to
shit.
bring it back. We were able to have an economic recovery that created the jobs you're talking about. We handed him a booming economy. He blew it.
It wasn't
He blew
booming.
it. He
It
blew
wasn't booming.
It
It was
was,
it was the weakest
Well,
recovery
sir, is it
since
fair to wait? Is
1929.
it fair to say he blew it when, in
When
fact, it was
COVID came out.
when there was record low unemployment
Yeah.
before COVID?
Yeah, but because what he did, even before COVID, manufacturing went in the hole. Manufacturing went in the hole.
Excuse
number
me,
one.
Chris. Wait.
Number two.
Chris,
Number three.
They said
they-
it would
they-
take. No, you're on number two.
No.
Chris. They said
Look
it
at
would
Joe.
take a miracle to bring back
Look at when Joe gets
manufacturing.
pissed. He's like
I
an
brought
old man.
back
He's like-
700,000 jobs. They brought back nothing. They gave up on manufacturing.
We
Part
did
of my
not bring it.
standard fare.
I'm the guy that
He
brought
totally
back
gave
the
up on
automobile
manufacturing.
industry.
Let him
We brought back, I was asked to bring back Chrysler and General Motors. We brought them back right here in the state of Ohio and Michigan. He blew it. They're gone. He blew it. And in fact, they're going.
Ohio had the best year it's ever had last year. Michigan had the best year they've ever had.
That is not
Many
true.
car companies
No.
came in from Germany, from Japan, went to Michigan, went to Ohio.
They're not having
And they
it.
didn't come in with you.
Mr. Vice President, go ahead.
And so you take a look at what he's actually done. He's done very little. His trade deals are the same way. He talks about these great trade deals. You know, he talks about the art of the deal. China's perfected the art of the steal. We have a higher deficit with China now than we did before. We have the highest trade deficit
China
with
ate
Mexico.
your lunch.
All
Down
right, gentlemen,
18%.
in-
China ate your lunch, Joe. And no wonder your son goes in and he takes out billions of dollars.
Oh.
Takes out billions of
Summer
dollars to
Hunter?
manage. He makes millions of dollars. And also,
Simply
while we're
not
at it,
true.
why is
No.
it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million.
That's
What
not
did he
true.
do
About
to deserve
Hunter.
it?
That
What
is-
did he do with Burisma
None
to
of
deserve
that is true.
$183,000?
It's the
None
strip
of
club.
that is
Question,
true.
let him answer.
None of that is true. It's
Oh, really?
been
He didn't
totally,
get
But no,
$3.5
hey,
million?
Mr. President,
It's
Mr.
totally-
President, please.
totally
ask the question.
discredited. Totally discredited. And by the way,
Well, wait, he
let's
didn't get
talk-
$3.5 million, Joe?
Mr. Vice,
He got
Mr.
$3.5 million.
President,
It is not true.
Oh, really?
Mr.
Oh.
President,
But, Mr.
it's an open discussion, please.
It's a fact.
Well,
There's-
you
it's
have
not.
raised an issue. Let the
It's been
Vice
totally
President answer.
discredited.
Did
There was a
Burisma pay him
report
$183,000 a month with no experience in energy?
Mr.
Oh,
President,
My
shit.
son did nothing wrong at Burisma.
I think he did.
Mr.
The only guy
President,
that
let him
did something-
answer.
He doesn't want to let me answer because he knows I have the truth. His position has been totally, thoroughly discredited.
By who?
And you
The
can-
media.
By everybody. Well, by the
By the
media,
media,
by our
because they refuse to
allies,
talk
by the
about it
World
because they're
Bank,
embarrassed.
by
Look at
everyone
Biden. He's
has
defeated.
discredited. Matter of fact,
Mr.
even the people
President,
who
please stop.
testified under oth.
So let me
Under
ask you
oath.
this,
Henry,
Joe.
under
No, no,
oath.
go ahead, Mr. I'm
Every-
listening to
even
you.
People under,
He got $3.5
he
million from
testified,
Moscow.
he testified under oath in his administration, said, I did my job and I did it very well.
Oh,
I did
really?
it
I'd like to know
honorably.
who they are.
Well, I'll give you the list
I'll
of the
fire
people who
them.
testified.
No, go ahead, sir.
Sure, you've already fired most of them because they did
Some
a good
because
job.
Some people don't
Well,
do a good
here's
job. with you.
Go ahead. Wait a minute. You get the final word, Mr.
Well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown. Excuse me. This.
And let me just say to you,
No. Mr. President.
$3.5 million,
President.
Joe.
That is simply.
Why did
not
he
true.
deserve $3.5 million from
Did-
Moscow?
Look, here's the deal. We want to talk about families and ethics. I don't want to do that. I mean, his family we could talk about all night. His family's
My
already.
family,
No, let him do-
my
already
family
wrote.
lost a fortune by
Go ahead.
coming down and helping
Go
us
ahead.
with
Go
government.
ahead, sir.
And that's such a.
they're right
That's
here.
it, Mr.
That's such a
Every
great.
single one of them lost
This
a
is not
fortune
about
by
President,
my
coming and
family or
helping
his
us with
family. It's
government.
about your family,
They
the
didn't put
American
$3.5
people.
million
He
dollars,
doesn't.
no.
That's not true. It doesn't want to talk about what you need. You, the American people. It's about you. That's what we're talking about.
And you
here.
should
All right,
It's
that's
not
the,
about
end of
here.
the, that's the end of the
Shouldn't
segment.
take the money.
We're moving on.
He didn't take them.
Well,
Vice
it's a-
President,
but Chris,
no,
Can I
it's-
be honest? It's a very important
Try to be
question.
honest.
No,
He stood
didn't.
up.
No,
he stood up.
the answer to
and
the
he
question is no.
threatened Ukraine
No, sir.
with $1 billion if you
That
get rid of
is
the
you know what, you're-
absolutely not
stop.
true.
tape
You're-
doing it.
you're gonna
You're on
have-
tape.
True.
Gentlemen, I hate to raise
Chris,
my voice,
he's
but I
on
see it
tape.
seems to be, why should I be different than the two of you? So here's the
That's a
deal.
good point.
We have 6 segments. We have ended that segment. We're going to go to the next segment. In that segment, you each are going to have 2 uninterrupted moments. In those 2 uninterrupted minutes, Mr. President, you can say anything you want. I'm going to ask a question about race, but if you want to answer about something else, go ahead. But I think that the country would be better served if we allowed both people to speak with fewer interruptions. I'm appealing to you, sir, to do that.
Well, and him too.
Well, frankly, you've been doing more interrupting.
Oh, that's
than
all
he
right,
has.
but he does plenty.
Well, less than, sir, less
There's
than,
plenty.
no, less than you have. Let's please continue on. The issue of race. Vice President Biden, you say that President Trump's response to the violence in Charlottesville 3 years ago, when he talked about very fine people on both sides, was what directly
Very
led
fine
you
people.
to launch this run for president.
Oh, yeah, sure.
President Trump, you have often said that you believe you have done more for black Americans than any president, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln. My question for the two of you is, why should voters trust you rather than your opponent to deal with the race issues facing this country over the next 4 years? Vice President Biden, you go first.
It's about equity and equality. It's about decency. It's about the Constitution.
Decency.
And we have never walked away from trying to require equity for everyone, equality for the whole of America. But we've never accomplished it. But we've never walked away from it like he has done. It is true. The reason I got in the race is when those people, close your eyes, remember what those people looked like coming out of the fields carrying torches, their veins bulging, just spewing anti-Semitic bile, and accompanied by the Ku Klux Klan. A young woman got killed. And they asked the president what he thought. He said there were very fine people on both sides. No president has ever said anything like that.
Yeah, Barbara says that Biden is dividing the country already, and he's not even president.
Is that when Floyd was killed, when Mr. Floyd was killed,
Mr.
there
Floyd.
was a peaceful protest in front of the
Mr.
White House. What did he do? He came out of his bunker, had the military use tear gas on him so he could walk across to a church and hold up a Bible. And then what happened after that? The bishop of that very church said that it was a disgrace. The general who was with him said all he ever wants to do is divide people, not unite people at all. This is a president who has used everything as a dog whistle to try to generate racist hatred, racist division. This is a man who, in fact, you talk about helping African Americans. 1 in 1,000 African Americans has been killed because of the coronavirus. And if he doesn't do something quickly, by the end of the year, 1 in 500 will have been killed. 1 in 500 African Americans. This man is a savior of African Americans. This man cares at all. This man's done virtually nothing. Look, the fact is that you have to look at what he talks about. You have to look at what he did. And what he did has been disastrous for the African American community.
So,
President Trump, you have 2 minutes. Why should Americans trust you over your opponent to deal with
he
racism?
did a crime bill, 1994, where you call them super predators, African Americans, super predators, and they've never forgotten it. They've never forgotten it, Jefferson.
No, sir, it's his 2 minutes.
So you did that, and they called you a super predator, and I'm letting people out of jail now that you have treated the African American population community. You have treated the black community about as bad as anybody in this country. You did the 1990, and that's why if you look at the polls, I'm doing better than any Republican has done in a long time, because they saw what you did. You called them super predators, and you've called them worse than that, because you look back at your testimony over the years, you've called them a lot worse than that. As far as the church is concerned, and as far as the generals are concerned, we just got the support of 250 military leaders and generals, total support. Law enforcement, almost every law enforcement group in the United States. I have Florida, I have Texas, I have Ohio, I have Portland. The sheriff just came out today and he said, I support President Trump. I don't think you have any law enforcement. You can't even say the word law enforcement, because if you say those words, you're going to lose all of your radical left supporters. And why aren't you saying those words, Joe? Why don't you say the words law enforcement? Because you know what? If they called us in Portland, we would put out that fire in a half an hour, but they won't do it because they're run by radical left Democrats. If you look at Chicago, if you look at any place you want to look, Seattle, they heard we were coming in the following day and they put up their hands and we got back Seattle. Minneapolis, we got it back, Joe, because we believe in law and order, but you don't. The top 10 cities and just about the top 40 cities are run by Democrats and in many cases radical left. And they've got you wrapped around their finger, Joe, to a point where you don't want to say anything about law and order. And I'll tell you what, the people of this country want and demand law and order, and you're afraid to even say it.
All right. I want to return to the question of race. Vice President Biden, after the grand jury in the Breonna Taylor case decided not to charge any of the police with homicide, you said it raises the question, quote, whether justice could be equally applied in America. Do you believe that there is a separate but unequal system of justice for blacks in this country?
Yes, there's systemic injustice in this country, in education and work and in law enforcement and the way in which it's enforced. But look, the vast majority of police officers are good, decent, honorable men and women. They risk their lives every day to take care of us. But there are some bad apples. And when they occur, when they find them, they have to be sorted out. They have to be held accountable. They have to be held accountable. And what I'm going to do as President of the United States is call together an entire group of people at the White House, well, everything from the civil rights groups to the police officers, to the police chiefs, and we're going to work this out. We're going to work this out so we change the way in which we have more transparency in when these things happen. These cops aren't happy to see what happened to George Floyd. These cops aren't happy to see what happened to Breonna Taylor. Most don't like it. But we have to have a system where people are held accountable.
Yeah, that's right. Fake news talking points.
Violence in response is never appropriate. Never appropriate. Peaceful protest is. Violence is never appropriate.
All right.
What is peaceful protest? When they run through the middle of the town and burn down your stores and kill people all over the place, and you say peaceful protest? No, it's not, but you say it is.
I'd like to continue with the issue of race. I promise we're going to get to the issue of law and order in a moment. This month, your administration directed federal agencies to end racial sensitivity training that addresses white privilege or critical race theory.
White privilege.
Why did you decide to do that, to end racial sensitivity training? And do you believe that there is systemic racism in this country, sir?
I ended it because it's racist. I ended it because a lot of people were complaining that they were asked to do things that were absolutely insane, that it was a radical revolution that was taking place in our military, in our schools, all over the place, and you know it, and so does everybody else. And he would know.
What is radical about racial sensitivity training?
If you were a certain person, you had no status in life. It was sort of a reversal. And if you look at the people, we were paying people hundreds of thousands of dollars to teach very bad ideas, and frankly, very sick ideas. And really, they were teaching people to hate our country. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to allow that to happen. We have to go back to the core values of this country. They were teaching people that our country is a horrible place, it's a racist place, and they were teaching people to hate our country. And I'm not going to allow that to happen.
Vice President Biden?
Nobody's doing that. He's the racist.
Yes, they are.
Here's the deal. I know a lot more about this.
Let him finish.
The fact is that there is racial insensitivity. People have to be made aware of what other people feel like, what insults them, what
insults
demeaning to
them.
them. It's important to people know they don't want to. Many people don't want to hurt other people's feelings, but it makes
Hurting
a big
feelings.
difference. It makes a gigantic difference in the way a child is able to grow up and have a sense of self-esteem. It's a little bit like how this guy and his friends look down on so many people. They look down their nose on people like Irish Catholics like me and grew up in Scranton. They look down on people who don't have money. They look down on people who are of a different faith. They look down on people who are a different color. In fact, we're all Americans. The only way we're going to bring this country together is bring everybody together. There's nothing we cannot do if we do it together. We can take this on and we can defeat racism.
We can defeat racism together,
During
everybody.
the Obama-Biden administration, there was tremendous division. There was hatred. You look at Ferguson. You look at.
Yep.
You go to many places. Look at Oakland. Look what happened in Oakland. Look what happened in Baltimore. Look what happened. Frankly, it was more violent than what I'm even seeing now.
Oh,
but the reason is that
ridiculous.
the Democrats that run these cities don't want to talk like you about law and order.
Violent
and you
crime,
still haven't mentioned. Are you in favor of law and order?
I'm in favor of law. You follow
Are you
it
in
and a little
favor
bit
of law
order.
and order? Go ahead,
Yes,
say
I'm in
it.
favor.
You asked a question, let him finish.
Law and order.
Loses
Law
left.
and order.
Let him
Law and order with justice, where people get treated fairly. And the fact of the matter is, violent crime went down 17%, 15% in our administration.
All right.
It's gone up on his watch.
Went down much more
he
than
had.
ours.
All right, we're now, Mr. President, you're going to
States of America.
Mr. President,
every record in the
Mr.
book.
President, you're going to be very happy because we're now going to talk about law and order.
Places we had trouble were Democratic-run cities.
That's
and
exactly my
Democratic-
question. There has been a dramatic increase in homicides in America this summer particularly, and you often blame that on Democratic mayors and Democratic governors, but in fact there have been equivalent spikes in Republican-led cities like Tulsa and Fort Worth. So the question is this really a party issue?
I think it's a party issue. You can bring in a couple of examples, but if you look at Chicago, what's going on in Chicago, where 53 people were shot and 8 died shot. If you look at New York, where it's going up like nobody's ever seen anything, the numbers are going up 100, 150, 200%. Crime. It is crazy what's going on. And he doesn't want to say law and order because he can't, because he'll lose his radical left supporters. And once he does that, it's over with. But if he ever got to run this country and they ran it the way he would want to run it, we would have our suburbs would be gone. By the way, our suburbs would be gone, and you would see problems like you've never seen.
He wouldn't know a suburb unless he took a wrong turn.
Oh, I know suburbs.
He would not.
So much
I was
better.
raised,
Go ahead, wait a minute.
I was raised in the suburbs. This is not 1950. All these dog whistles and racism don't work anymore. Suburbs are by and large integrated. There's many people today driving their kids to soccer practice and or to black and white and Hispanic in the same car as there have been any time in the past. What really is a threat to the suburbs and their safety is his failure to deal with COVID. They're dying in the suburbs. His failure to deal with the environment. They're being flooded. They're being burned out because his refusal to do anything. That's why the suburbs are in trouble.
I do want to talk about this issue of law and order, though. And in the joint recommendation that came from the Biden-Bernie Sanders task force, you talked about, quote, reimagining policing.
Yeah, Amanda.
First of all, what does
Biden is
reimagining
just
policing mean, and do you support?
It's corny.
Let me, if I might finish the question. What does reimagining policing mean, and do you support the Black Lives Matter?
Do you support Black Lives Matter? Look at these pointed questions.
For community control of policing.
Look, what I support is the
So
police
Trump, do you support Black
having
Lives
the
Matter?
opportunity to
What a
deal
loaded
with the
fucking
problems
question.
they face. And I'm totally opposed to defunding the police officers. As a matter of fact, local police, the only one defunding it, his budget calls for a $400 million cut in local law enforcement assistance. They need more assistance. They need, when they show up for a 9/11 call, to have someone with them as a psychologist or psychiatrist to keep them from having to use force and be able to talk people down. We have to have community policing like we had before, where the officers get to know the people in the communities. That's when crime went down. It didn't go up, it went down. And so we have to be engaged.
That's not what they're talking about, Chris. That's not what they're talking about. He's talking about defunding the police.
That is not true.
He doesn't have any law support.
Look,
he has no law enforcement
that's not
support.
true.
Almost
that's
nothing.
Look.
All right, who do you have? Name one group that supports you. Name one group that came out and supported you. Go
Look,
ahead.
look.
Think. We have time.
We don't have time to do
No,
anything.
think
about
Listen,
it.
look,
Name
folks,
one law
folks,
enforcement group that came out and
I think,
supported
gentlemen,
you.
I think I'm going to take back the
There
moderator's
aren't. I don't
role,
think there
and
are any.
I want to get to another subject, which is the issue of protests in many cities that have turned violent. In Portland, Oregon, especially, we had more than 100 straight days of protests, which I think you would agree. You talk about peaceful protests. Many of those turned into riots. Mr. Vice President, you say that people who commit crimes should be held accountable. The question I have, though, is as the Democratic nominee, and earlier tonight you said that you are the Democratic Party right now, have you ever called the Democratic mayor of Portland or the Democratic governor of Oregon and said, hey, you got to stop this, bring in the National Guard, do whatever it takes, but you'd stop the days and months of violence in Portland?
I don't hold public office now. I am a former vice president. I've made it clear in my public statements that the violence should be prosecuted. It should be prosecuted, and anyone who commits it
But
should
you've
be
never
prosecuted.
called for the people, the leader. Excuse me, sir. You have never called for the leaders in Portland and in Oregon to call
Because
bring in
they-
the National Guard and knock off 100 days of riots.
They can, in fact, take care of it if he just stay out of the way. Look here.
Oh, really?
Here.
Oh, really?
Here's the
But
thing.
I sent in the
wait, I
U.S.
asked him a
Marshals to
question.
get the killer
No,
of the
then-
young man in the middle of the street, and they shot him. And
Right.
for 3
This
days,
President Trump,
Portland
President
wouldn't do
Trump
anything. I
is
had to send in
interrupted.
the U.S. Marshals,
President
they took
Trump-
care of business.
Go ahead, sir.
And by the way, his own former spokesperson said, riots and chaos and violence help his cause. That's what this is all
No,
about.
it helps your cause.
I do.
Who?
I think Kellyanne Conway.
I don't think she said.
She said that.
I don't
And so here's the
All right.
But here's the point.
Go
The
ahead.
point is that that's what he is, keeps trying to rile everything up. He doesn't want to calm things down.
And Wallace
Instead
saves
of
Joe
going
again.
in
Yep,
and
that's
talking
right.
to people and saying, let's get everybody together, figure out how to deal with this. What's he do? He just pours gasoline in the fire.
That's what you do.
Constantly.
And-
Every single solitary
Okay,
time.
and to end this, button up this segment, I'm going to give you a minute to answer, sir. You have repeatedly
I
criticized.
have to answer his
No,
statement.
you have
His statement.
repeatedly.
Wait,
you have
just 1
no.
second.
You've been talking
You
back
made
and
a
forth.
statement.
I'm asking you.
I would love to
you know,
end it.
sir.
I would love to end it, and
you know,
we
if
would
you want to
very-
switch seats,
We would
could
very quickly.
We could do that, but
I'd
I'm
send
no,
in the
I'm-
National Guard, it would be over. There'd be no problem.
Okay.
But they
Good.
don't want to accept the National Guard.
You have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing
That's right.
extremist groups. But are you willing tonight
But-
to condemn white supremacists and
Okay,
militia
there we go.
groups and
'Cause that's
to
a real
say
problem out
that
there.
they need to stand down and not add
There
to
we
the
go.
violence in a number of these cities, as
You
we
support
saw
Black
in
Lives
Kenosha
Matter.
and
Will
as
you
we've seen in
condemn
Portland.
white
Are you
nationalism?
I'm willing
prepared
to
to
do that,
specifically
but
do it? Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing,
Thank
not
you,
from the
Trump.
right
So
wing.
what are you?
Thank
What are
you,
you?
Trump.
What are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see
Well,
peace.
then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say
Then
it.
do it, sir. What the
You wanna
fuck,
call him-
Wallace?
What do you
It's
want
not
to call
your
them?
place.
Give me a name. Give me a
White
name. Go ahead.
supremacists
Who
and
would
right
you like me to condemn?
white
Proud Boys.
supremacists and right
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back
Proud
and
Boys?
stand by. But I'll tell you what.
Did he just say
somebody's
Proud
got to
Boys?
do something about Antifa and the left, because this is
Thank
not
you,
a
Trump.
right-wing problem.
His
This
own
is a left-wing.
FBI director.
Thank you,
This is
Trump.
a left-wing
Go ahead,
problem.
White
Go ahead, sir.
supremacists. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh,
not militia.
make-
That's what his
It's an idea.
FBI, his
Okay.
FBI director
Gentlemen,
said.
Well,
we're
then
gonna-
you know what?
No,
He's
no, we're
wrong.
done. We're done, sir. We're
Everybody-
moving on to the next.
everybody-
We're
When a
moving.
bat hits you
What
over the
the
head, that
fuck?
isn't an idea.
Everybody in
Antifa
your
is
administration
bad.
tells you the truth has a bad idea.
Can I tell you what?
You have no ideas.
Antifa is a dangerous
All right,
radical
gentlemen,
group.
we're now moving on to the Trump
And
and
you ought to be
Biden
careful with
records.
them. They'll overthrow you.
When
in
a
2
president,
seconds.
I'm going to ask
Oh
you a
my
question.
God! Good job,
When the
Trump.
president
Good
seeks
job,
a second
Trump.
term,
That was good.
it is generally a referendum on his record. But Vice President Biden, you like to quote one of your dad's sayings, which is, "Don't compare me to the Almighty, compare me to the alternative." And in this case, sir, you
Wow.
are the alternative.
Wow.
Looking at both of your records, I'm going to ask each of you, why should voters elect you president over your opponent? In this segment, President Trump, you go first, 2 minutes.
Because there has never been an administration or president who has done more than I've done in a period of 3.5 years. And that's despite the impeachment hoax. And you saw what happened today with Hillary Clinton, where it was a whole big con job. But despite going through all of these things, where I had to fight both flanks and behind me and above, There has never been an administration that's done what I've done. The greatest, before COVID came in, the greatest economy in history, lowest unemployment numbers. Everything was good. Everything was going. And by the way, there was unity going to happen. People were calling me for the first time in years. They were calling and they were saying, it's time maybe. And then what happened? We got hit, but now we're building it back up again. A rebuilding of the military, including Space Force and all of the other things. A fixing of the VA, which was a mess under him. 308,000 people died because they didn't have proper health care. He was a mess. And we now got a 91% approval rating at the VA, our vets. We take care of our vets. But we've rebuilt our military. The job that we've done, and I'll tell you something, some people say maybe the most important. By the end of the first term, I'll have approximately 300 federal judges and Court of Appeals judges, 300, and hopefully 3 great Supreme Court justices. That is a record, the likes of which very few people, and you know one of the reasons I'll have so many judges? Because President Obama and him left me 128 judges to fill. When you leave office, you don't leave any judges. That's like, you just don't do that. They left 128 openings, and if I were a member of his party, because they have a little different philosophy, I'd say if you left us 128 openings, you can't be a good president, you can't be a good vice president. But I want to thank you because it gives us almost, it'll probably be above that number by the end of this term. 300 judges, it's a record.
Looking at both your records, why should voters elect you president as opposed to President Trump? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Under this president, we become weaker, sicker, poorer, more divided, and more violent. When I was vice president, we inherited a recession. I was asked to fix it. I did. We left him a booming economy, and he caused a recession. With regard to being weaker, the fact is that I've gone head-to-head with Putin and made it clear to him we're not going to take any of his stuff. He's Putin's puppy. He still refuses to even say anything to Putin about the bounty on the heads of American soldiers.
Your son got $3.5 million.
And by the way, my son...
Wait a minute. Mr. President, your campaign agreed to both sides would get 2-minute answers uninterrupted. Well, your side agreed to it, and why don't you observe what your campaign agreed to as a ground rule, okay, sir?
He never keeps his word.
No, I'm not asking. That was a rhetorical question.
Can you
go
ahead,
back
sir. 30 seconds?
Yeah, yes, you may have.
All right.
Go ahead.
So, thirdly, we're poor. The billionaires have gotten much more wealthy by a tune of over $300 to $400 billion more just since COVID. You in the home, you got less. You're in more trouble than you were before. In terms of being more violent, when we were in office, there were 15% less violence in America than there is today. He's president of the United States. It's on his watch. And with regard to more divided, the nation can't stay divided. We can't be this way. And speaking of my son, the way you talk about the military, the way you talk about them being losers and being and just being suckers. My son was in Iraq. He spent a year there. He got the Bronze Star. He got the Conspicuous Service Medal. He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes.
Really?
And I resent.
Are you talking about Hunter? Are you talking about Hunter?
I'm talking about my son, Beau Biden. You're talking about.
I don't know Beau. I know Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. It wasn't dishonorably.
Cocaine use. And he didn't have a job until you became vice president. And once you became vice president, he made a fortune in Ukraine, in China, in Moscow,
that is simply
and various
not
other places.
True.
He made a fortune.
My son,
and he didn't have a job.
My son, like a lot of people we know at home, had a drug problem. He's overtaken it. He's fixed it. He's worked on it, and I'm proud of him.
But why was he given tens of millions of dollars?
He wasn't given tens of millions of dollars. That is totally,
President Trump. You've already been.
Oh my God!
Discredited.
They're fighting.
We've already been through this. I think the American people would rather hear about more substantial subjects. Well, you know, as the moderator, sir, I'm going to make a judgment call here.
Gets $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow.
Let's talk about
not true.
Gentlemen,
that report is totally discredited.
Mitt
Romney on that committee said it wasn't worth taxpayers' money, that report. It was written for political reasons.
You know, I'd like to talk about climate change.
So would I.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Fuck.
Okay. The forest fires in the West are raging now. They have burned millions, thousands of people. When state officials there blame the fires on climate change, Mr. President, you said, I don't think the science knows. Over your 4 years, you have pulled the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Accord. You have rolled back a number of Obama environmental records.
Trump
What
said
do you
Biden's son was
believe
on
about
crack.
the science of climate change, and what will
Chris
you do
acting
in
sus.
the next 4 years to confront it?
I want crystal clean water and air. I want beautiful, clean air. We have now the lowest carbon. If you look at our numbers right now, we are doing phenomenally. But I haven't destroyed our businesses. Our businesses aren't put out of commission. If you look at the Paris Accord, it was a disaster from our standpoint. And people are actually very happy about what's going on because our businesses are doing well. As far as the fires are concerned, you need forest management in addition to everything else. The forest floors are loaded up with trees, dead trees that are years old, and they're like tinder, and leaves and everything else. You drop a cigarette in there, the whole forest burns down. You've got to have forest management. You've got to have cuts.
What do you believe about the science of climate change, sir?
Oh my God,
I
it's so
believe
loaded.
that we have to do everything we can to have immaculate air, immaculate water, and do whatever else we can that's good. You know, we're planting 1 billion trees, the Billion Tree Project, and it's very
Do you
exciting.
believe
for a lot of people.
that human pollution, greenhouse
believe
gas
in climate
emissions
change, the way
contributes
that
to
we
the
define
global
it?
warming of
I
this
think
planet?
a lot of things do, but I think to an extent, yes. But I also think
I
we have
agree
to
with
do
that.
better management of our forests.
agree with that.
Every year, I get the call, California's burning. California's burning.
It's a
If
fucking
that was
desert out
cleaned,
there.
if you had forest management, good forest management, you wouldn't be getting those calls. You know, in Europe, they live their forest cities. They're called forest cities. They maintain their forests. They manage their forests. I was with the head of a major country. It's a forest city. He said, sir, we have trees that are far more, they ignite much easier than California. There shouldn't be that problem. I spoke with the governor about it. I'm getting along very well with the governor. But I said, you know, at some point, you can't every year have hundreds of thousands of acres of land just burned to the ground.
But, sir,
that's burning down because of a lack of
But,
management.
sir, if you believe in the science of climate change, why have you rolled back the Obama Clean Power Plan, which limited carbon emissions in power plants? Why have you relaxed?
Because it was driving energy prices through the sky.
Why have you relaxed fuel economy standards that are going to create more pollution from cars
Well,
and
not
trucks?
really, because what's happening is the car is much less expensive and it's a much safer car, and you're talking about a tiny difference. And then what would happen, because of the cost of the car, you would have at least double and triple the number of cars purchased. We have the old slugs out there that are 10, 12 years old. If you did that, the car would be safer. It would be much cheaper by
But in the case of
$3,500.
California, they've simply
No,
ignored
but you would
your-
take a lot of
your
cars
rollback.
off the market because people would be able to afford a car. Now, so, and by the way, we're going to see how that turns out. But a lot of people agree with me, many people. The car has gotten so expensive because they have computers all over the place for an extra little bit of gasoline. And, and I'm okay with electric cars too. I think I'm all for electric cars. I've given big incentives for electric cars. But what they've done in California is just crazy.
Vice President Biden, I'd like you to respond to the president's climate change record, but I also want to ask you about a concern. You proposed $2 trillion in green jobs. You talk about new limits, not abolishing, but new limits on fracking, ending the use of fossil fuels to generate electricity by 2035, and zero net emission of greenhouse gases by 2050. The president says a lot of these things would tank the economy and cost millions of jobs.
He's absolutely wrong, number one. Number two, if in fact, during our administration, the Recovery Act, I was in charge, able to bring down the cost of renewable energy to cheaper than or as cheap as coal and gas and oil. Nobody's going to build another coal-fired plant in America. No one's going to build another oil-fired plant in America.
No.
They're going to move to renewable energy, number one. Number two, we're going to make sure that we are able to take the federal fleet and turn it into a fleet that's run on their electric vehicles. Making sure that we can do that, we're going to put 500,000 charging stations and all of the highways that we're going to be building in the future. We're going to build an economy that, in fact, is going to provide for the ability of us to take 4 million buildings and make sure that they, in fact, are weatherized in a way that they'll emit significantly less gas and oil because the heat will not be going out. There's so many things that we can do now to create thousands and thousands of jobs. We can get to net zero in terms of energy production by 2035. Not only not costing people jobs, creating millions of good paying jobs. Not $15 an hour, but prevailing wage, by having a new infrastructure that in fact is green. And the first thing I will do, I will rejoin the Paris Accord. I will join the Paris Accord because with us out of it, look what's happening. It's all falling apart. And talk about someone who has no relationship with foreign policy. Brazil, the rainforests of Brazil are being torn down, are being ripped down. More carbon is absorbed in that rainforest than every bit of carbon that's emitted in the United States. Instead of doing something about that, I would be gathering up and making sure we had the countries of the world coming up with $20 billion. Say, here's $20 billion. Stop tearing down the forest. And if you don't, then you're going to have significant economic consequences.
What about the argument that President Trump basically says that you have to balance environmental interests and economic interests, and he's drawn his line?
Well, he hadn't drawn a line. He still, for example, he wants to make sure that methane's not a problem. You can now emit more methane without it being a problem. Methane. This is a guy who says that you don't have to have mileage standards for automobiles that exist now. This is the guy who says that, well, the fact that it's all true. And here's the deal.
He's talking about the Green New Deal, and it's not $2 billion or $20 billion, as you said. It's $100 trillion.
I'm talking about
where they want to rip down buildings and rebuild the building. No, it's the dumbest, most ridiculous. Where airplanes are out of business, where two-car systems are out, where they want to take out the cows too. That's not true either, right? This is a $100 trillion. Look, that's more money than our country could make in 100 years if we're
not
going
the case. All right, let me destroy because I actually wait a minute, sir. I actually have studied your plan, and it includes upgrading 4 million buildings, weatherizing 2 million homes over 4 years, building 1.5 million energy efficient homes. So the question becomes, the president is saying, I think some people who support the president would say that sounds like it's going to cost a lot of money and hurt the economy.
What it's going to do is going to create thousands and millions of jobs, good paying jobs.
Let him finish, sir.
He doesn't know how to do that.
He doesn't know how to do that.
The fact is, it's going to create millions of good paying jobs, and these tax incentives for people to weatherize, which he wants to get rid of. It's going to make the economy much safer. Look how much we're paying now to deal with the hurricanes. By the way, he has an answer for hurricanes. He said maybe we should drop a nuclear weapon on them.
I never said that.
That's what he did say.
You made it up.
And the cow ethno. We are going to be in a position where we can create hard, good jobs by making sure the environment is clean and we all are in better shape. We spend billions of dollars on floods, hurricanes, rising seas. We're in real trouble. Look what's happening just in the Midwest with these storms that come through and wipe out entire sections and counties in Iowa. They didn't happen before. They're because of global warming. We make up 15% of the world's problem. We, in fact, but the rest of the world, we got to get them to come along. That's why we have to get back into the Paris Accord.
All right, gentlemen.
Wait a minute, Chris. So why didn't he do it for 47 years? You were vice president. Why didn't you get the world? China sends up real dirt into the air. Russia does. India does. They all do. We're supposed to be good. And by the way, he made a couple of statements. The Green New Deal is $100 trillion.
That is not my plan.
That's
the Green New
you want to
Deal
rebuild every
is
building.
Not my plan.
I want to rebuild every.
If he knew anything about,
he made a statement about the military. He said I said something about the military. He and his friends made it up, and then
his
they
friends.
went with it. I never said it.
Okay.
That is
What
not
he
true.
did is he
You're done in
said
this segment.
he called the military
Mr. Vice President,
stupid bastards.
I
and he
did
said
not
it on
say
tape.
that.
He said
Mr.
stupid
Please,
bastards. He
sir,
said it.
stop.
I would never
I
say
would
that.
Play
Stop.
it. Play it.
Go ahead.
You're
Mr.
on
Vice
tape.
President answered
You
his
should just
final
find it
question.
out.
The final question is,
Wallace,
I can't
let him
remember
find
which
out.
of all his rantings.
Of
course you
I'm
can't
having a little
remember.
trouble myself, but and about the economy and about this question
Of
of what
course
it's
he does
going to
another
cost.
question.
The economy.
I mean, the Green New Deal and the idea of what your
The
environmental
Green New
changes
Deal-
will do.
The Green New Deal will pay for itself as we move forward. You're not going to build plants that, in fact, are great polluting plants.
Do you
You're going to
support
build
the Green New Deal?
Pardon me?
You support that?
No, I don't support the Green
Oh,
New
you
Deal.
don't? Oh, well, that's a
Do
big
that.
statement.
I
That
support
means you
the
just
Biden.
lost the radical left.
I
Oh,
support
you
the
don't?
Biden plan that I
The
put
Biden
forward.
plan.
Okay.
The Biden plan, which is
The
different
Biden
than
plan.
what he calls the radical Green New Deal.
All right, gentlemen.
I might make
final
another gusher
segment.
burrito.
Election integrity. As we meet
Election
tonight,
integrity.
millions of Americans are receiving mail-in ballots or going to vote early. How confident should we be that this will be a fair election? And what are you prepared to do over the next 5+ weeks? Because it'll not only be to Election Day, but also counting some ballots, mail-in ballots after Election Day. What are you prepared to do to reassure the American people that the next president will be the legitimate winner of this election? In this final segment, Mr. Vice President, you go first.
Prepared to let people vote. They should go to iwillvote.com. Decide how they're going to vote, when they're going to vote, and what means by which they're going to vote. His own Homeland Security Director, and as well as the FBI Director, says there is no evidence at all that mail-in ballots are a source of being manipulated and cheating. They said that. The fact is that there are going to be millions of people because of COVID that are going to be voting by mail-in ballots, like he does, by the way. He sits behind the Resolute desk and sends his ballot to Florida, number one. Number two, we're going to make sure that those people who want to vote in person are able to vote because enough poll watchers are there to make sure they can socially distance. The polls are open on time, and the polls stay open until the votes are counted. And this is all about trying to dissuade people from voting because he's trying to scare
What?
people into thinking that it's not going to
Dissuade
be
them from
legitimate.
voting?
Show up and vote.
Yeah,
You
show
will
up and vote.
determine the outcome of this election. Vote, vote, vote. If you're able to vote early in your state, vote early. If you're able to vote in person, vote in person. Vote whatever way is the best way for you, because he cannot stop you from being able to determine the outcome of this election.
So
And
aggressive.
in terms of whether or not, when the votes are counted, and they're all counted, that will be accepted. If I win, that will be accepted. If I lose, that will be accepted. But by the way, if in fact he says he's not sure what he's going to accept, well, let me tell you something. It doesn't matter, because if we get the votes, it's going to be all over. He's going to go. He can't stay in power.
Gusher
It won't
burrito.
happen. It won't happen. So vote.
And a gusher
Just make sure
burrito.
you understand.
With fruit roll-ups. Ah, fuck. Fuck.
You have it in your 4
Sorry.
years. Is it going to change? You get 4 more years of these lies.
Mr. President, 2 minutes.
Juicy.
So when I listened to Joe talking about a transition, there's been no transition from when I won. I won that election. And if you look at crooked Hillary Clinton, if you look at all of the different people, there was no transition because they came after me trying to do a coup. They came after me spying on my campaign. They started from the day I won and even before I won, from the day I came down the escalator with our First Lady. They were a disaster. They were a disgrace to our country. And we've caught them. We've caught them all. We've got it all on tape. We've caught them all. And by the way, you gave the idea for the Logan Act against General Flynn. You better take a look at that because we caught you in a sense. And President Obama was sitting in the office. He knew about it too. So don't tell me about a free transition. As far as the ballots are concerned, it's a disaster. A solicited ballot, okay, solicited is okay. You're soliciting, you're asking, they send it back, you send it back. I did that. If you have an unsolicited, they're sending millions of ballots all over the country. There's fraud. They found them in creeks. They found some with the name Trump, just happened to have the name Trump just the other day in a waste paper basket. They're being sent all over the place. They sent 2 in a Democrat area. They sent out 1,000 ballots. Everybody got 2 ballots. This is going to be a fraud like you've never seen. The other thing, It's nice on November 3rd, you're watching and you see who won the election. And I think we're going to do well because people are really happy with the job we've done. But you know what? We won't know. We might not know for months because these ballots are going to be all over. Take a look at what happened in Manhattan. Take a look at what happened in New Jersey. Take a look at what happened in Virginia and other places. They're not losing 2%, 1%, which, by the way, is too much. An election could be won or lost with that. They're losing 30 and 40%. It's a fraud, and it's a shame. And can you imagine where they say you have to have your ballot in by November 10th? November 10th. That means that's 7 days after the election, in theory, should have been announced.
Okay.
We have major states with that.
Sir,
all run by
2
Democrats.
minutes is 2 minutes.
All run by Democrats. It's
President Trump,
it's a rigged election.
you're going to be able to continue. You have been charging for months that mail-in balloting is going to be a disaster. You say it's rigged, that it's going to lead to fraud. But in 2018, in the last midterm election, 31 million people voted mail-in voting. That was a quarter, more than a quarter of all the voters that year cast their ballots by mail. Now that millions of mail-in ballots have gone out, what are you going to do about it? And are you counting on the Supreme Court, including a Justice Barrett, to settle any dispute?
Yeah, I think I'm counting on them to look at the ballots, definitely. I hope we don't need them in terms of the election itself. But for the ballots, I think so. Because what's happening is incredible. I read today, where at least 1% of the ballots for 2016 were invalidated. They take them, we don't like them.
But
They
what are you
throw
going to
them
do
out
about it?
left
There
and
are
right.
millions of ballots going out
What
right
you
now.
do
What
is
are
you
gonna
go
do?
and vote. You do a solicited ballot,
No,
and that's
I
okay,
know
or
your
you go and
complaint.
vote.
I'm asking you about the fact that millions of people
You go and
have
vote. You go and
No,
vote
but
like
I'm
they
saying is, what are you
they
gonna do
used
about
to
the
in
fact
the
that
old.
millions of people.
You either do, Chris, a solicited ballot where you're sending it in, they're sending it back, and you're sending. They have mailmen with lots of it. Did you see what's going on? Take a look at West Virginia. Mailmen selling the ballots. They're being sold. They're being dumped in rivers. This is a horrible thing for our country. This is not going to end well.
There is
Okay.
no
This
evidence
is
of that.
not going
Vice
to
President
end well.
Biden.
5 states
In fact,
have had
go ahead,
mail-in
sir.
ballots for the last decade or more. 5, including 2 Republican states. And you don't have to solicit the ballot. It's sent to you. It's sent to your home. What they're saying is that it has to be a postmark by election day. If it doesn't get in till the 7th, 8th, 9th, it still should be counted. He's just afraid of counting the votes because he knows
You're
the
wrong.
outcome.
You're wrong.
I want to continue with you on
I
this,
love
Vice
counting
President
the vote.
Biden.
Chris,
because
he's so wrong when he makes a
in fact,
statement
no,
like that.
excuse me, Vice President Biden. The biggest problem, in fact, over the years with mail-in voting has not been fraud historically. It has been that sizable numbers, sometimes hundreds of thousands of ballots are thrown out because they have not been properly filled out, or there is some other irregularity, or they missed the deadline. So the question I have is, are you concerned that the Supreme Court with a Justice Barrett will settle any dispute?
I am concerned that any court would settle this because here's the deal. When you get a ballot and you fill it out, you're supposed to have an affidavit. If you didn't know, you have someone say that this is me. You should be able to, if in fact you can verify that's you before the ballot is thrown out, that's sufficient to be able to count the ballot because someone made a mistake and not dotting the correct I. Who they voted for, testify, say who they voted for, say it's you. That is totally legitimate.
All right.
Excuse me, because when you have 80 million ballots,
I have a final
sending
question.
and swamping the system,
you
know it can't be done. You know it can't, and already
all
there's
right.
been
So
fraud.
now,
Mail service delivers
gentlemen, in the
185
final
million
question
mail a
is,
day.
in 8
ballots.
states, we can keep talking.
It's
in 8 states, election workers are prohibited, currently by law, 8 states, from even beginning to process ballots, even take them out of the envelopes and flatten them until election day. That means that it's likely, because there's going to be a huge increase in mail-in balloting, that we are not going to know on election night who the winner is, that it could be days, it could be weeks,
could be months,
until we find out who the new president is. So first for you, sir, finally for the vice president, I hope neither of you will interrupt the other. Will you urge your supporters to stay calm during this extended period, not to engage in any civil unrest, and will you pledge tonight that you will not declare victory until the election has been independently certified. President Trump, you
I'm
go first.
urging my supporters to go into the polls and watch very carefully, because that's what has to happen. I am urging them to do it. As you know, today there was a big problem. In Philadelphia, they went in to watch. They're called poll watchers, a very safe, very nice thing. They were thrown out. They weren't allowed to watch. You know why? Because bad things happen in Philadelphia, bad things. And I am urging my people. I hope it's going to be a fair election. If it's a fair election, I am 100% on board. But if I see tens of thousands of ballots being manipulated, I can't go along with that. And I'll tell you what, from a common sense,
does that mean
I'll tell you what it means. It means you have a fraudulent election.
Does that mean you're going to have people take to the streets?
80 million ballots. They're not
You mean like what the left,
These people
the Democrats are doing? Taking to the streets?
Number two, they cheat. They cheat. Hey, they found ballots in a wastepaper basket 3 days ago, and they all had the name military ballots. They were military. They all had the name Trump on them.
Vice President
you think
Biden,
that's good?
Vice President Biden, final question for you. Will you urge your supporters to stay calm while the vote is counted, and will you pledge not to declare victory until the election is independently certified?
Yes, and here's the deal.
You
count the ballots, as you pointed out. Some of these ballots in some states can't even be opened until Election Day. And if there's thousands of ballots, it's going to take time to do it. And by the way, our military, they've been voting by ballots since the end of the Civil War, in effect. And that's what's going to happen. Why was it not? Why is it for them somehow not fraudulent? It's the same process. It's honest. No one has established at all that there is fraud related to mail-in ballots. That somehow it's a fraudulent process.
It's already been established. Take a look at Carolyn Maloney's race.
You had an opportunity to respond.
Look at Carolyn Maloney.
Go ahead.
They have no idea what
Vice President Biden, go ahead.
He has no idea what he's talking about. Here's the deal. The fact is, I will accept it, and he will too. You know why? Because once the winner is declared after
I agree.
all,
I think
all
there's
the
a
ballots
necessary
are counted,
pause that
all
needs
the
to
votes are
happen
counted.
between questions.
That'll be the end of it.
To digest.
That'll be the end of it. And if it's me, in fact, fine. If it's not me, I'll support the outcome. And I'll be a president not just for
Hey,
the
Eric, nice to see
Democrats. I'll be a president for Democrats.
Eric's a great
and
artist.
Republicans.
Everyone should check him out.
And this guy,
I want to see an honest ballot count.
Gentlemen, you say that's the end of it? This is the end of this debate?
Honest ballot count.
We're
and
going
I
to
think
leave
he
it
does
there.
too.
To be continued as in more debates as we go on. President Trump, Vice President Biden, it's been an interesting hour and a half. I want to thank you both for participating in the first of 3 debates that you have agreed to engage in. We want to thank Case Western Reserve University and the Cleveland Clinic for hosting this event. The next debate, sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates, will be 1 week from tomorrow, October 7th, at the University of Utah in Salt Lake City. The 2 vice presidential nominees, Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris, will debate at 9 p.m. Eastern that night. We hope you watch. Until then, thank you and good night.
All right. Oh.
Thank you.
Now they can make noise. Dude, Chris Wallace, man. He's fucking annoying. Is it just me? Or is he like up Trump's ass? I mean, I don't think he comes up with the questions. I don't know who's in charge of coming up with these questions. Who's the neutral party? Maybe this is a dumb question. I don't know. But like, who the hell is this neutral party that asked the president these questions? Oh my god. Lonnie is fabulous, of course. We love you, Trump! Is that what I just heard? I don't know. I think Trump's gonna win just because, from my experience, it's always 2 terms. Presidents are pretty much always 2 terms unless there's something super big and dramatic. And not saying that this is not big and dramatic, and there could certainly be some really fucked up shit that goes down, but if there's no grand conspiracy and no fucked up shit goes down, I think it's going to be two terms as usual. So that's what I think. So I'm just rolling something should have had it rolled and ready for the end of the stream. And that's that. Okay, let's go back to just me. Hey. So that was fun. Okay. You know, it started off crazy with like Trump kind of like volume down here, but just like totally giving those digs at Biden. And Biden is just so corny to me. He just comes across so, oh, and I tell you, when you wake up in the morning and see that chair, and you look at your chair during breakfast, and there's that missing person, you know, I'm trying to tap into your hearts, like, look at me, and it's like, okay, buddy, shut the fuck up. Is that a Hunter Biden special you rolling? I think so, yeah. Cigarette and coffee, it sounds fantastic. Yeah, and then Biden just gets really corny because he's just kind of like, oh, and then he like tries to like give it back. Like he's so frustrated by Trump's like digs that he's just kind of like caught off guard and tries to like snap back at him, but he just comes across like super corny. Like it just doesn't work the same way. There's just something funny about Trump. There's just something funny about it. He's so fucking hilarious. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, that was fun. I'm gonna just chit chat with you guys for a few minutes here. Kind of, again, let it digest. People said in the comments. Yeah, someone says Biden, what was it? It wasn't a crash, so the left will consider it a win. Yeah, I agree, because I have someone texting me that Trump is doing terribly in the debates, and I was kind of like, what? Is that how you guys perceive it? Because, like, Biden is looking really fucking stupid and cringy, and, like, corny. I don't like saying the word cringy. Ooh, cringe. Fucking 35 years old. Don't need to be saying cringe. It's motherfucking corny, okay? Biden is just like a cornball. Ugh. Not funny. Trump hates minorities. Okay, I think that's obviously not true. I think he loves them a little too much at times. I want to know what body or group is going to certify the election. States already have powers. Isn't really the Fed's job. Yeah, I didn't like how Biden was pandering. Yeah, okay, let me see. Let me look at my super chats and see if there's anything that I missed. And you guys can always do that by going to streamlabs.com/Martina Markota TV, and that really helps me just continue doing these streams. And we have a lot of fun. If you're new to this stream, I hope that you join our little community because I think it's super fun. We have a lot of really fun people in the chat, as you may notice. Very interesting people, smart people, nice people, artistic people. This is an artsy community that we have here. So I mostly stream a lot of artsy content. There you go. Thanks, CL Hubbard. You're the best. Aw, you're so kind to me always. Oh, man. It means a lot. Really, really means a lot. Thank you. But yeah, it's an artsy community, so if you are interested in like arts and culture and stuff like that. Oh, Barb. Thanks, Barb. Aw. Yeah. Nice. It's a Japanese cat, right? Yeah, so it's an artsy community, so I do a lot of streaming, usually art stuff. I go over an art history textbook, Princeton University textbook, actually, and Princeton University has, they're getting rid of their art history course because it's too focused on white, European, Western stuff. So we do it in the streams, and I think it's really interesting. Because, you know, we like to bitch and complain about the left and what's wrong with society. But I think it's very important, more important, to actually start shifting culture into being the world that we want to live in. So we should all be focused on educating ourselves and learning stuff about our culture, our history, you know, those things. And when we look at all this, we see that in great civilizations throughout the world, throughout the ages, and that's what the book is called. It's called Art Through the Ages. Gardner's Art Through the Ages, written by Gardner. And we see that art plays a major role in great civilizations, and that's the lasting things, you know, that we have that tell us about these cultures, and it's just super important stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that we're into. A lot of the people in this community are super artsy and really interesting thinkers. So, yeah. Hey Dan, it says the art streams are usually pretty good. The chats often extend beyond the subject while still remaining relevant to it. That's right. Yeah, thank you. Hi Lars, I think I've seen you before. Hi Lars. It says Trump's move to reintroduce classical architecture in government buildings legitimately terrified the establishment left. Wow. Cool. Yeah. Barb says that the debate wasn't as exciting as she thought it would be. Oh well, we'll see with round two. We'll see round two. Do we remember Hillary? I think with Hillary, there were some dull moments. I'm not sure which one was better, though. I do remember them both being pretty entertaining. I think maybe one of them was disappointing. I feel like there was a disappointing one. Even, like, for Trump. Like, we were like, oh. But he had moments. I don't know. Am I smoking a lot? I don't know. It's because I'm drinking a lot, too, right now. I'm not really a big drinker, but I do like to smoke a lot. I have the fizonic, I don't know how to say that word, of a Parisian woman from the 50s. Oh, why, thank you. It's a compliment. Thank you. The third Trump versus Clinton was boring. Yeah, I thought one of them was pretty boring. Debate was chaos. Trump had a few jokes. Yeah. Is it a cigarette or what? It's a little spliffy. It's tobacco and some things in there. So Luke Johnson says, hi Luke, he says, Biden brought up the subject of Catholics. Does he have any idea how many Catholic churches have been vandalized by his party? Are there any other Are there any other Catholics here today who are upset? Oh, wow. Hi Wise Guys Entertainment, nice to see you in here. I expected way more revelations today. Yeah, I mean, I figured they would focus in on the taxes. I knew that they would do that, and I have a feeling they'll continue that, but try to dig up something else. They'll try to dig up some other scandal, like they always do. They're going to try to dig up some sort of Trump tapes, the Hollywood Access tapes or something. French Parisian women are so self-centered. How is that a compliment? Well, I mean, he said looks physically. I like the French aesthetics. So, I mean, I don't really know French people actually personally that well. So, I don't know about personality, but I like the French aesthetics and fashion and the way that their women look. Quite nice. Yeah. I'm not French though. Yeah, I'm Croatian, so. Emma, good night. Is saying good night. Thanks for coming by. Thanks everybody for stopping by. And Nick says, I don't think there's a single undecided voter at this point. These debates are just an excuse for the media to take shots at Trump while he destroys Biden. Yeah, I agree. I think that's pretty on point. And you can tell by the moderator's questions and how he moderates. It's like, He's trying to constantly talk over and rein in Trump. And sure, Trump sometimes does go, like, overboard, wants to really explain himself and, like, whatever. But it's Trump being Trump, and I think that's on brand for him, but also at the same time. And for some reason, it works for his supporters, like me, because, like, he can do those, like, insulting things, and it just comes across funny, and it's like, but when Biden does it, it's just corny. Like I said, it's like he's trying too hard. It's weird. So, I don't know. It works sometimes when he, like, oversteps, like, I feel like. But I can acknowledge that sometimes he does kind of go overboard. Sometimes where it's just like, okay, just moderator told you to, time's up. It's fine. But, yeah, wait, what was the question? What were we talking about? What kind of cognition enhancers do you think Biden was on tonight? He wasn't as stumbling as usual. He still had that old man stumbly vibe, though. I felt like when Trump, like I said, would make those zings, he would just stand there frozen, like, with his mouth even open, like, and he was like, this guy. Reminds me of Bubba. Reminds me of my Bubba. It's just like, this guy. He's just, like, frozen. It's hilarious. Trump versus Biden versus Wallace. That's what it was, yeah. But yeah, there was, questions, of course, with the white supremacy stuff. There was questions, of course, with Black Lives Matter. All of the questions definitely were pointed to, let's try to get Trump on this, This is something that the left are always criticizing Trump about these points. And I felt like Biden's talking points every time, like, even Wallace had to, like, rein him in and be like, no, well, this is, like, what we're talking about right now. Like, remember, this is, like, the question. This is what we're talking about. Because they had, like, I felt like these very generic responses that were like, oh, well, Supreme Court. Oh, well, Supreme Court, so-and-so, Ruth Bader was into, this and women's rights and blah, blah, blah. And he's going to take that all away. And Trump's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, how did you just get to that point? He was coached. Yeah, I mean, he definitely was like, oh, I hear, this is what my Bubba does too. It's like, there's a word and it, like, triggers something in her brain when she hears a word, and then there's, like, the automated, like, thing that you would remember to regurgitate about that word. And it's just like, we're not talking about that right now, Biden. Like, what are you talking about? Yep, the rest of the debates will be even more against Trump. That's true, that's true. I thought Trump did incredibly well handling the white nationalist question, because it's like, they want him to cave. That's what they want him to do. Good night, Nick. He says nuke the cows. Oh, shit. We got, Wise Guys. Oh, buddy. Thank you so much. Fuck, man, you're so nice to me. He says, thanks for covering the debates. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. Oh, man. It means a lot. Thanks. Really helps. Love you guys. You can always help contribute by going to streamlabs.com/Martina Markota TV. Thank you, thank you. Whoa. He called Trump a clown? Oh, wow. I'm trying to catch up here. Hold on. It keeps moving. Thank goodness you got it before you ended the stream. Yeah, thank you, Wise Guys. You're always so kind to me. I wish I could repay you somehow. You are the hardest working lady on YouTube. Is it because I'm always streaming? Yeah, it's my job right now. I mean, it's like, I don't know what to do. It's New York City. COVID happened. Everything's shut down. Then there's riots. The city, the crime has increased. And it's just like, okay, I guess I'll stream for a living. I'm not saying I'm doing incredibly well, but, just gotta make rent. That's really all I care about. And just gotta eat every day. I like to eat. And I like to smoke. But this tobacco is pretty cheap. Everyone's gotta have something to do, This is what helps me get by. Trump is monitoring the Proud Boys. He definitely said Proud Boys tonight. Yeah. Why does Joe Biden have translucent skin? It really creeps me out. I want to have translucent skin. That sounds fantastic. Be like a vampire. Just be like translucent. I'm into it. I want that. Do I cover any QAnon info? No, not really. I don't really know much about that stuff. I don't really actually even follow mainstream politics that much anymore. I just have the basics that why I've always been Republican, the basic bitch talking points, and, yeah, both sides can be fucking retarded at times, but if I'm going to root for any of the teams, it's going to be the Republican team. If your skin goes translucent, does it make it easier to see your veins? Yeah, that would probably be a side effect. You definitely see veins. I mean, with really white skin, you can see veins. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can see my veins. Yeah, I can see blue. I can see blue in my veins. I don't know. No, it's too bright on the screen. For some reason, I don't know why it's so blown out that much. But, yeah. Proud Boys just make things worse. They should back off. No, I agree. Everyone needs to just, like, calm the fuck down and just kind of go their way or whatever. But it's, good not to back down like how Trump did, because he could easily just, like, what they want him to do is to back him into a corner and go, so you support Black Lives Matter, right? Right? Because it's like, how do you just go, like, no? I mean, yeah, people can say, like, no, but it's like, they want him to come across racist. Like, that's why they're asking that. And it's like, oh god, just the basic talking points about how, like, when Biden said Antifa isn't an organization, it's an idea. It's an idea, guys. It's not an organization. It's an idea. Oh god. Vascularity is attractive to women. I wish the Libertarian Party would get their shit together. Joe Jurgensen ain't cutting it. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be anything like Ron Paul, so. But yeah, that's what they do. They just try to do the pointed questions. Do you support Black Lives Matter? Will you condemn white nationalists? Will you will you condemn any violence after the election if people are pissed off? Like, what? Like, these are all, like, can you guys name any one question that there was that was pointed towards Joe that was like, hey, so, this is a bit pointed towards you, what people criticize you about on the right a lot, like, do you have an answer for this? It's like, they didn't do that once to Joe. Anyway. Was Biden shying away from Green New Deal a big item? I don't follow that storyline. Yeah, I don't really follow the Green New Deal thing either. My 2 cents on climate change is that this is my critique of, like, Candace Owens and these basic bitch conservatives, like, when she was on Joe Rogan or whatever. And just like what Trump says, like, he's not saying that he doesn't believe in climate change, and he avoided using the word climate change. This is why like, he gets it, because he does say the things that are, like, right. Like, he does. I think he did well. I think he really did well, but, like, yeah, he won't say climate change in those words, and he was admitting that there is, like, some work to be done and in importance. Like, I do believe in, like, not littering and, like, environmentalism. I like environmentalism. I love nature. I think there is a reciprocal interaction with nature and stuff. So he was, like, not being like, no, it's a hoax, it's, like, all fake, like, blah, blah, fuck the environment. Like, he was being, like, understanding and sympathetic with that concept, but it's just a matter of, like, the way Democrats, like, use climate change for an agenda, like Agenda 21 or some other like nefarious thing to use laws to kind of fuck with things. And I think he was absolutely on point about the maintenance, the forest maintenance stuff. Humble Marty, hey, oh, another Marty in the house. That's kind of a nickname that I've had a few people in my lifetime call me Marty sometimes. It says Biden looked like he was looking at a teleprompter. Yeah. It looked like he was looking past the camera. Someone said it looked like he was staring at the camera. He wasn't, because I was looking when someone said that. It looked like he was looking beyond and like past. And it just has a very strange, creepy vibe when that happens, you know? So yeah. Trump said Proud Boys should stand by. What does that mean? What does that mean? That part when Biden pointed and looked directly at the camera killed me. Jesus Crust, nice name, Jesus Crust, said, I honestly think Trump should condemn the KKK so they stop asking. Yeah, fair enough. I'm too buzzed to super chat. Oh, I forgot also to share. There is, obviously you guys have probably all heard about a drinking game for this election. I forgot to share it in the beginning. Oh well, but luckily we have other debates, so I hope you guys join me for some of the other debates. I think it's pretty cool because we get to see the debates like with other people. You have the chat, it's fun, everyone's cool in the chat, right? And I don't think I really interrupt that much, but I think maybe comments here and there are fun for you guys. Like, I don't know. So, whatever. Come next time for the next debate, whatever date that is. I'll look it up. But I have a 2020 debate drinking game. May as well read it now, even though it's over. Whatever. So it says, 1 sip if Biden loses his train of thought mid-sentence. I think that happened. I mean, he definitely forgot what the questions were a few times. Trump laughs at Biden. Biden misquotes COVID stats. Trump says huge. I don't think he said that this time. Trump's hair flutters. Oh. Every time Biden starts a sentence with look or listen. I think he probably did that. Every time Biden says an incorrect gun fact. Oh, they didn't talk about guns. Not unless like another shooting happens. So then we have 1 shot if Biden references being vice president or Obama. I think Trump brought that up. Biden references taking away gun/stricter gun laws. That didn't happen. Trump says China virus. That didn't happen either. I don't think he said that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he said that. So finish your drink if Biden forgets where he is. Definitely forgot where he was answering a question. Biden calls his wife by the wrong name or gender. That didn't happen. Biden says, come on, man. That possibly could have happened. Because he was saying, like, this guy. I remember him being, like, in shock and just being like, this guy. Probably said, come on, man. I think he may have. So, yeah. Maybe someone can come up with a better chart for a drinking game. That's true, Kid Midnight. That's true. Trump actually labeled the KKK and Antifa terrorist organizations. That's right. So he was labeling Antifa terrorist organization. He also did the KKK when he did it. Yep. Proud Boys trending on Twitter. Oh, that's interesting. Let me see. Let me see Twitter. Let's see. Explore. Is that where I go? Proud Boys. Oh my God. Okay, Ann Culture said Brian Williams' very first comment was the president even declined when given the opportunity to condemn the Proud Boys. Can you believe it, ladies? I know. Who's Brian Williams? Marianne Williamson said, when asked, the president refused to condemn white supremacist groups. He even said the Proud Boys should stand back and stand by, and Don Jr. is asking for an army of volunteers to protect the vote. They are proactively planning voter intimidation on November 3rd. What the fuck, Marianne Williamson? Fuck you. What the fuck? Is that what he said? So someone says, Trump, what do you want me to call them? Biden, Chris said, white supremacists. Trump says, Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. What the actual fuck is happening? How can the leader of the free world not just condemn white supremacy, yet tells them to stand by? Okay, well now you're conflating Proud Boys and white supremacy people. Like, okay. Okay, so now they're creating a conspiracy theory that Trump is trying to use the Proud Boys as their, like, intimidation army for, like, the election. This is what's happening right now. This is what's happening right now. So then we have a Cody Johnston, Twitter verified, check mark. Says, wonder if there's any sort of connection between Trump telling the Proud Boys to stand by and then 20 minutes later telling his people to go to polls and watch them. And then someone in the other tweet that I just mentioned was mentioning something about Don Jr. trying to do some sort of protect the vote thing kind of thing. So now they're going to conflate white supremacy, Proud Boys, and intimidating, voter intimidation. That's what's happening right now. That's what's happening, fellas. Live, right here, you watched it. That's what's happening. Yep. Anyway, so let me see what you guys are saying. Ooh, my eyes. Oh, that's what happens when I drink alcohol. I just, like, can't keep my eyes open. I'm just like, well, maybe that's the other stuff I'm smoking. Can't keep my eyes open. My girl Sarah Sanders is on Hannity. Oh, how fun, how fun. Yeah. The real debate is right here. That's right, Oscar Diaz. That's right. So yeah, that's what I got. That's all I got. See you later, Max, Valerio. Some people are leaving. They're getting out of here. Yeah, I'll wrap this up, too. Unless anyone wants me to stay, you can send me a super chat and let me know what you want me to do if you want me to stick around. I'm glad, Jay, that you enjoyed yourself. Time just flew by. Oh, no. Am I slurring? Am I slurring now? Oh, I should end the stream. I should end the stream. Yeah, I should probably get the fuck out of here now. Just deconstruct this real quick before I get out of here. Detox in the morning. Okay, H2O time. Alright, everyone's now implying that I'm drunk. So, I'm gonna get out of here before that becomes a problem. Help me, guys. Help me. sounded like a parrot. We need critical thinking says, notice they do not do open source ubiquitous audits with hand-signed paper ballots. Voter fraud is a hard felony. Voter fraud is extremely rare. Election fraud, yep. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta sort out my voting. I tried working on that today. I called them up and I spoke to a very, very rude person. What do you call it? Whoever the fuck deals with the voting shit, the Board of Elections or some shit. I was waiting to talk to someone. There was like 48 people on the call before me, and then it went pretty quickly, and then there was like 60 something, then 50 something, and finally I got like serviced, and it was like some lady who was just such a fucking bitch. And she wanted me to I guess she looked me up and there was the wrong address. And I was like, no, that's not right. She goes, well, then I don't have you. I was like, no, that's me, because I'm the only Martina Markota. Okay. And, but I was like, but that's not my address anymore. I have lived on that road before, but I don't live there anymore. And so then she's like, okay, I'm going to send you something, and you have to, basically take it. In a really big attitude. She wasn't even nice about it, but it's somehow the most bitchiest way possible told me I have to, send something to this, bring something to this building in New York City that's, in my county or whatever, and my borough. And I was like, okay, well, is it open? Because I Googled that place that she was telling me to go to, and it says that it was temporarily closed. And most of the things that have been affected by COVID are temporarily closed on Google. Like the theater I used to work at and stuff like that, you'll notice it says temporarily closed. And it was midday on a weekday, Tuesday, and she just gave me the biggest attitude. She's like, why wouldn't it why wouldn't it be open? She's just such a bitch about it. And I'm just because it's motherfucking New York City. The city's gone to shit. And this COVID, nothing's open, and I don't want to fucking waste the day running around chasing a fucking goddamn deadline to vote in this building. It's ridiculous. I get used to casual Martina, Pablo says. Oh, shit. So I've been slacking with my aesthetics. That's what Pablo's saying. Pablo's like, oh, I forgot Martina looks okay. Pablo's like, I'm used to Martina and her fucking sweats and no makeup. I see how it is, Pablo. Pablo, look, I look like your drawings. This is why everyone's Jay says it looks like me. I look like your drawings now. Minus the giant boobs, but when you do moderate boobs, then it looks like me. But anyway, yeah, I gotta sort out that voting shit tomorrow. That's what I'll do. I gotta drink water. Gotta drink water and then sort out my voter registration for tomorrow. And you guys should join me. Maybe I'll do art stream. Definitely Friday. If anything, just so you know. I should get pizza, ASMR with pizza. I am all about the mukbang. If you guys send me super chats to buy pizza, I will do it on stream. I will even get it ordered on stream. And then, it'll get delivered, and you'll hear the doorbell ring. And then I'll get a nice, hot, fresh out the oven pizza. Oh, spanakopita. Yep, I can do that. I live by a really, really, really good Greek place that has some good... I mean, I make really good myself, but if I wanted to order it, I could always get it from this amazing place that's nearby. We know you can make it, yep. Oh, Snowball. Got me with the pizza. Thank you. Okay, giving me money ahead of time for that pizza. Okay, I'm getting a pizza next stream. It's happening. I'm excited. Fuck yeah. Pence is way too smart for Camilla. Yeah, oh my god, that'll be interesting, right? Yeah. Remember? Ooh.
Pizza.
Pizza. Make sure it's New York City styled, of course. I live in an Italian neighborhood. It's gonna be a good pizza. That gift should have had my pizza gift to it. Because I have a pizza gift. And I didn't do that gift. Damn it. That would have been the right gift for that. Camilla melts when she's put on the spot. Pence was a radio host. Pence is just super classy. He has a strong demeanor with a smile on his face and is super respectful and hard to hate. I know people do. I know he is like a neocon type, but he really comes across super classy. So, nice try, Camilla. She's gonna try to make some digs, but doing that to Pence is gonna be difficult. He's understated, that's right. This stream should transform into a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stream. Oh my god, Pablo. You would. I wouldn't even know where to start there. I think that was one of the... There was other fruit snacks, and I think one of them was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I considered it, but it wasn't Gushers and it wasn't Fruit Roll-Ups. So I was like, no, we have to go with the plan. But they did have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fruit snacks. Electric Pence will remain unrattled. I agree. I agree with that hard. Yep. Rapier83 says, wait, Martina doesn't usually dress like this? I used to, actually. I used to dress like this when I streamed, but I started streaming far more often lately and than I used to. I stream like twice a week, and I stream quite a few times a week now, and then COVID happened, and I was away for a few months, and while I was away, I had like just like whatever I brought with me. It was like a few items of clothes, and it was just summertime, it was hot, and I just started getting really just like COVID casual with it. So yeah, I stopped dressing like this so much. Sometimes I don't even wear makeup on stream, but I kind of like to balance it back and forth with like glam stream and then like casual stream, because not only like sometimes when I'm just not into glamming up, but I don't know, I like to show the like variety of stuff. Like I don't really care if I look like a hobo or I don't. I mean, usually I like to have a like public presence because it's like professional, and I believe in like being professional and dressing appropriately for the occasion is important. So I have respect for myself and others and for you and my viewers, so to, you know, be properly attired. But I do want to show sometimes a little bit of like casualness, and that it's not about like the makeup kind of thing. Homeless Martina is a good aesthetic. Thank you, Jay. Mattia says, I like casual Martina. There, I said it. I should get the fuck out of here. I don't really have anything else to say, and that was fun, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let's do the next stream, the next debates, and I stream pretty regularly, so I hope you join us in the community. If you're interested in the Discord, just send out, a message, DM, either to me or to Jay. Jay, Jay can send your Twitter to people if you want. I don't know if you want to do it. I don't mean to blast you like that, but... Oh, now we got Pablo chiming in on Hobo Martina. What? Martina with a shotgun. I mean, I've shot one. Alright, guys. I don't want to overstay. It's been 3 hours, so... See you later. That was fun. Love you guys. Super aesthetic. Keep it about the aesthetics. Delivering justice one shell at a time. Thank you, thank you. Fuck Google too. Hey, what's up, buddy? He comes in last minute there. He says, did you like the debate? I was literally have my button on the stop streaming thing, and you come in with Streamlabs. Thank you. Or Super Chat. Thank you. Yeah, it was alright. I think Trump came in, like, hard, but not, like, aggressive. He was, like, kind of, like, here, but he was, like, no nonsense. I mean, I think he's been getting a lot of shit for the past few years now, and it's, like... He kind of knows how to deal with it. It's exhausting and it's annoying, but it's just kind of like, oh god, okay, yeah, just shut the fuck up. Like, you're being retarded, kind of like, put you in your place. That's absolutely not true. Like, okay, you're being super cringe right now. And that's kind of what was happening. So it was fun. It was nice to see. But it wasn't. I can't think of anything. What were some slogans that were from it? I feel like Biden had some funny ones that were just kind of like. What did he say? Fuck, what was it? He was saying something that we were laughing at. We were repeating it a few times. I forget. Oh, Man of Sex. Hey, what's up? He says, do you think they stuck a finger with Tabasco up B-Dog's gape? Certainly tried to make him as spicy as they could, or as he could be. Yeah, for sure. If a finger of Tabasco does it up the bee, up the bee gape, then sure. Sure. Oh man, I like this background. And this overlay. I feel so glittery. I should put music on. That's what should be happening. Where's the music? I was playing music before. Let me see. I should just do Xerius again. Xerius? How do you say it? Right Wing Youth. What's the name of it? Right Wing Youth. Just play this. Maybe I'll play my outro as well when I leave, but I'm just gonna rock on to this, finish my drink, and then get the fuck out. Wish I could dance, man. No space in here. This isn't your favorite song by them, really? I like this one. This is my favorite song of theirs. No space to even turn my chair. I don't know what this music is, says Chief. The Chief has spoken. Wise Guys. Yeah, one slice of pizza in New York is probably can get 99-cent slices in Manhattan, but in my neighborhood, it's a few bucks. Yeah. Yes, we're still live, guy. I wish I could dance. Oh shit. No way. Fuck yeah. Thank you. Holy shit. Martina making aesthetics gorgeous again and performance art avant-garde intelligible. Aw, fuck. Thank you. Britted? Okay, ready? This is the breakdown. Thank you. Fuck. I wish I could, like, do something. Breakdown. This keeps going out. Where'd I find the song for my cooking video? That was another friend of mine. It's called Bass Meme on Bandcamp. I like know this song so well. Love this song. Big Guy says, when I found out that Pence supported the TPP under Obama, my opinion of him dropped. Oh yeah, that's fair. Alright, the song's gonna end. And unless Mr. $100 over there wants me to stay on, you can let me know if you want me to, but like, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you so much. Fuck, it really means a lot. That's like a lot to me. So, if you have it to give, it's like means the world to me. Thank you. Alright, I hope you don't mind this song again, but I love it. Zarius, check him out, and here's my outro. Love you guys. See you later.